Breaker Crunchers, welcome to issue 86 of Couch Crunchers, where we are each coming in from different worlds. From the Mushroom Planet, we have Matt from Absolute Geek.
Aww.
From the beautiful world of Sonic, with the Sonic head and everything, we have Lance.
Green Hill Zone.
Me, the exceptionally normal, coming from the Earth, Max the Gamer Guy. This is Couch Crunchers. Welcome, everybody. How y'all doing?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Stop doing your guys' show if I keep getting insulted like this.
Insulted?
Between you guys and Comic Exposure.
I wasn't even meaning
because you're in the mushroom world.
I don't want to be I don't want to be from a fungus planet.
Oh,
I don't want to be a fun guy.
I was trying to reserve Earth for me because I was trying to not be insulting, but I couldn't not give the Sonic planet to Lance. He's wearing a Sonic head, man.
That's fine.
How you guys been, man?
Good,
man.
Besides pissed off about the worlds that you're being coming from.
Was there a mushroom land in the game? Because I don't ever remember one.
I'm not familiar with one.
I don't.
What I've been hearing is that they're saying it's like a tie-in to Mario, but that doesn't make sense because they don't own Mario. So I don't really think that's it.
Yeah, and I think it's a completely different company that's doing the Mario movie. I think it's the Minions people that are doing the Mario movie.
Yeah, I don't expect them to be tied in together at all.
I don't want a Mario movie because it worked so well the first time.
Well, animated.
This is completely animated.
Yeah.
That cartoon was awesome. Do you remember the cartoon in the 90s?
I remember the 90s cartoon, yes. With the very stereotypical Italian dude at the beginning of the show singing and dancing.
Spaghetti.
Yeah.
I missed my meatball.
Congratulations, you've just been demonetized.
Did you guys see this meme earlier this week? It's a Mario meme, and it's this debt collector or something saying, Mario, you owe us $10,000. And he's like, and he says, why? And the guy says, it's a fine. And Mario says, no, it's a not. I just thought it was funny.
That's stupid.
It is stupid.
Oh, man.
I say starting the dad jokes early there, huh, Max?
Absolutely. 5 months away from being allowed. Dude, guys, I went to that one place where there's magic and Star Wars.
Is it also a kingdom?
It is no, I did not go to the kingdom one. I went to Disneyland, not the world.
I was thinking you went to an old Blockbuster or something.
No. But dude, it was so much fun. I had so much fun. I wanted to talk to you guys about the Rise of the Resistance ride because it's freaking legit. Have you guys heard about this ride at all?
No.
Okay, so it's like a 25-minute experience.
What?
Yeah, and it's so cool. It is so cool. So they only have 2 rides at Star Wars Land right now. They have Smuggler's Run, which is like a Millennium Falcon-based ride, and it's really fun. Not the best ride at Disneyland. I still think Space Mountain's better, but it's a fun ride. It's a good time. I even think Star Tours might be better than Smuggler's Run, but it's fun, worth doing. We did it 3 times. But Rise of the Resistance is probably one of the coolest rides I've ever been on because it's a ride. You've got a 4-minute ride, which is pretty long, but it's also a full-on experience. So get this. You get in order to do it, we had to be in the park at 8 a.m. with our phones ready because it's such a new ride. They can't let everyone on it. And the area where it is, you can't actually even do a line really because there's just not space for it. So you have to be there on your phone, and as soon as it says join boarding group, you hit join boarding group. And my brother's phone glitched out on him, and he had to restart the app and didn't get in for 30 seconds. And we were in group 87, and they only get to 150 groups a day. So we were good. We were safe. But that just tells you how much demand there is. Within 30 seconds, we were in a boarding group, but we were still halfway through the line. They say every day these tickets are out within 2 minutes. So if during WonderCon you guys end up going, just keep that in mind if you want to do this ride. It might be a little bit less in demand by then, but it's probably still going to be pretty darn popular.
That sounds like Kyle's experience. Was it Kyle that was trying to buy tickets to Rage Against the Machine?
Oh yeah, I saw it like 2,000 in line.
Yeah, well, me and Kyle both. Yeah.
Did you guys end up getting tickets?
Kyle got tickets. Yeah.
You didn't?
I passed on them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to go to My Chemical Romance in Vegas, dude. The tickets sold out in like 60 seconds or something ridiculous.
Dang.
I got in, and when I got in, the only seats left were like the nosebleed of the nosebleed. It was like the very last row of the upper deck of Gila River, and I was like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm not gonna spend $125 on these seats."
Yeah, at that point, you can't even see them.
Yeah, especially with San Diego Comic-Con and stuff. I'm not even gonna mess with Rage Against the Machine with all the conventions I'm going to all of a sudden. Not even gonna mess with Rage Against the Machine tickets.
Yeah, Jay wanted to go. He texts me and goes, "Hey, do you want to go to Rage Against the Machine?" I was like, I like them, but I don't know if I like them enough to go see them. You know,
I'd go see them, but I'm not a concert guy, so like it's not the end of my world if I don't see Rage Against the Machine in concert.
Well, that's freaking expensive too, man. I'm a huge Blink fan, but I don't think I'd want to pay $125 to see them. And that's one of my favorite bands. That's just so much money.
The most money I spent for a Blink concert was like $60.
Yeah, I think I did too, and we might have gone to the same show together. It was Edgefest. I feel like that's about what I paid, but Jimmy was there, and like it was a good lineup.
I've seen him a couple times since then, and it still wasn't more than $60. I saw him with A Day to Remember, Blink, and I think All Time Low was there. Yeah, All Time Low was there. And it was only $60.
Oh, that's a
good
lineup.
Were like in the front. Those were like in the front section at Auction Pavilion or whatever they call it.
Nice.
So it wasn't bad at all.
They were in Denver last year at the Nugget Stadium and the Pepsi Center, but it was like $100, and that was when they were there with Lil Bow Wow or whatever it was, the rapper that they teamed up with. Lil Wayne. Yeah, I'm not into rap. I don't really know. But I was like, I don't want to go to that. I don't want to pay $100 so I have to sit through Lil Wayne. I'm not interested.
Yeah, that's why I didn't buy tickets to that show either. Because I'm a Blink fan too, and I wasn't going to do that.
And the thing is, too, is like you never knew if Lil Wayne was actually going to perform.
That's right. Didn't he bow out a bunch of times?
Oh, yeah. He would just not show up.
And if I'm going to spend money on a Blink concert, I want to see Blink, original Blink again, not the new incarnation of it.
Well, see, I'm a huge Alkaline Trio fan. They're one of my top 5 favorite bands, and Matt Skiba is from Alkaline Trio.
Yeah,
and so the new iteration doesn't bother me. Some of their songs are not good on this new album, but the new iteration does not bother me. I do miss Tom, but I like Matt too.
Blink isn't Blink without Tom DeLonge.
Yeah,
it does. It feels different, but it still feels like Blink to me. Like, because Matt and Tom both sung like half the songs to where Matt's voice is Blink 182. But I still get a little weirded out with is his name too Matt as well? Skiba?
No, there's Mark and Matt.
Mark. Oh my gosh, Mark is what I meant to say. Mark's voice is like synonymous with Blink for me, so it doesn't bother me. But Matt Skiba, I like his voice, but it does throw me for a loop every time I hear it. Yeah, because it is.
Yeah,
which it is. They are a good mesh. Like, I like the new Blink stuff a lot, but it is different.
Right.
Anyway, we got sidetracked from the Rise of Resistance. That's okay. So
Lance just didn't want to talk about it because he doesn't want to upset his 8-year-old.
I know, right?
He's going to be like, she knows we're talking about Disney. I can't do this. My heart is heavy.
Oh, man.
So then we didn't get onto the ride until 3, like, because you look at the app and it'll tell you what boarding groups are boarding, and you have to wait for yours, of course.
Yeah.
Well, so it's about 3:00 in the afternoon. We board, and it was funny. We were standing by the ride. As soon as boarding group 85 showed up, we ran over to the ride, and then within like a minute or two of that, our group 87 was up, and there was a bunch of us there waiting to get in, and we all got on together. Now they've structured it in such a way that, due to the boarding groups, you don't wait in line that long. Like, we got into the ride, 10-minute wait, and we started like the full experience. That's not bad. I don't mind that at all. You know, I wish more rides were like that. I wish I could just freaking get into a digital queue for everything. That'd be awesome. But anyway,
that'd be awesome if they did do that.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
Like they should do that. That sounds like a better model than the Fast Pass thing they got going on.
Well, yeah, so you can go
I agree.
experience the rest of the park, and then when your time's up, you can just show up and get on the ride.
Yeah, you still have like a window of time or whatever,
Yeah.
which would be similar to Fast Pass. But with Max Pass, Fast Pass becomes a lot better. We did the Max Pass so that you can, on your phone, reserve your tickets for Fast Passes, and that was really nice. I'm glad I did that.
Oh, that's a thing?
Yeah, it's a new thing.
I thought you
they
were just
started
making the name up, like
No.
it's because you're Max.
No, it's a thing. $15 a day. It's a real
I
thing.
thought you were just saying my name's Max, so I get an even faster pass called the Max Pass.
No.
Yeah, he essentially breaks his legs and
Yeah.
gets the wheelchair so you can just go through the exit.
I break everyone's legs, just like Harley broke legs in her movie.
Oh,
Let's not ever bring that up again. That movie. Oh my gosh.
I was actually just listening to the show because since I wasn't on last week, I was listening to it just before recording, and I was getting a kick out of your guys' comments. Anyway, so I waited in line for about 10 minutes, and then this is when the full experience starts. So you get put onto this like cruiser essentially, and there's like a little story that goes along with it. You're all standing in there, but you've got like an animatronic Quarian, so like the Akbar race. He's like the commander of the ship, and it's during the resistance time, and they're giving you the story details about how you're going to go meet up with Poe and Finn and all this. So, and actually before that, there's like a part where you get debriefed by Rey and BB-8. So you get debriefed by Rey and BB-8, then you get onto this cruiser, and you're going to go help Poe and Finn with something. Well, while you're
BB-8, how does BB-8 debrief you?
it's Rey. Rey's the one in
just
a
hold your
holocron.
pants down.
Rey's in a holocron. She's the one telling you what's about to happen. Then you get on the little cruiser, and like it's actually like somewhat of a ride. You can feel it moving a bit, but it's not a lot because you're standing. So for safety reasons, they're not going to do anything crazy. But it's pretty cool. Like you feel like you're flying around in space a little bit. You've got that little animatronic there narrating things for you. You've got a window behind you that looks like you're in space, and you see a battle going on. Well, then this is where it gets real cool. You get stuck in a tractor ray by the First Order. They bring you into the tractor beam, is what I mean to say, and you get arrested by the First Order. And then the ride stops because you've been brought in by the tractor beam. The doors open, and now you get put into a Star Destroyer, and you're under arrest in the Star Destroyer, and you're in this massive hangar. Like you've got a freaking TIE fighter in this hangar and still tons of space, and you've got like 3 rows of like 10 long stormtrooper animatronics standing there with guns just like watching you, and then all the Disney employees are dressed up like resistance officers giving you commands in character, telling you to get in single file lines, wait your turn, don't do that. Like it's cool. It's really immersive and really cool. And then there's another line, but it's a cool line because like you're being put in line for processing. You're going to be interrogated. They want to find information from you about the resistance. And then you get put into an interrogation room after you wait in line for a little bit. And that's when the resistance rescues you. Well, you're interrogated by Kylo Ren first, but after you're interrogated by Kylo Ren, the resistance comes and rescues you, and that's when the ride starts. And that ride is freaking cool. It's like 4 minutes. You're going through the Star Destroyer, getting chased by Kylo Ren. He's like taking a lightsaber and stabbing it through the ceiling, and you can see his lightsaber above you, like moving in a circle as if he's going to cut through and come into the room that you're in. You see these freaking AT-ATs, whatever you want to call them, full size, like you're in a room with multiple of them. It is one of the, like, if you're a Star Wars fan, this is one of the coolest Star Wars experiences I think you could ever have. Like, you feel like you're transported to the Star Wars universe and you get to experience all this. It's really cool. If you guys go to Disneyland, it is absolutely worth the effort of getting there on time, early, basically. We had Magic Morning, so we got in fine because we could get in an hour early. But if you're only going one day, you don't have Magic Morning, you're going to want to show up early so you can be in the park and get this reserved. But man, it's cool. It's a really cool ride. Even if you're not into Star Wars, like, it's just cool. So it's one of the most immersive rides I've ever been on.
That sounds fun, actually. And it's cool because you remember when we went a few years ago and we did the Guardians of the Galaxy thing?
Yeah.
And it was like the first weekend that it was open.
Wow, it's like 5 hour wait in line.
5 hours we waited in line. We were starting to take shifts, you remember?
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, we'd have one family wait there and we'd go, and the other part would go on some rides, and then that family would come back, and then the other family. It was a nightmare. And for a ride that lasted
a minute,
a minute or two, it just wasn't worth it.
No, that was not worth it at all. They should have done a digital queue. Absolutely. And they did it for Smuggler's Run as well. Smuggler's Run had a digital queue as well. It doesn't anymore. But yeah, I think Disney's learning from their mistakes. And now with the onset of technology, they're implementing new things, because that was so much better to not have to actually wait in line all day. We just went about our business. We did Space Mountain 2 times. We went and did the Matterhorn again. We did Smuggler's Run again. We did a ton of rides. And then we were tired because we're getting old. And so we just sat around for an hour. And I had blisters on my feet from the day before. Six Flags the day before. I didn't bring good shoes and I had blisters. So walking around all day that day at the park was rough enough. And luckily my brother was he's 34 now. And we're starting to feel our age. And we just wanted to sit down. So we just sat down in Star Wars Land and watched people. And it's really cool. Star Wars Land is really cool. There was Rey, that they had for the park, and she was taking pictures. And then she found 3 girls, little young 5 to 10-year-old girls that were dressed up as Rey, and she got them together. And then some stormtroopers came up to them, and they fought the stormtroopers together and put on this little production. And it was really cool. She was
nicer, because you remember my experience with Black Widow.
Yeah, that was a bad experience for sure. The Star Wars stuff, they're a bit more.
What'd you do?
It's cool.
What'd you do to Black Widow?
Well, it was that opening weekend for Guardians of the Galaxy, so Avengers were just everywhere, and Black Widow's walking around, and she's by herself. She's obviously what do they call them? Not a performer. What is it?
Cast member.
Cast member. Thank you. And William, my son, gets real excited that he sees Black Widow, and wants to go take a picture with her. And this my son's calling her, and she just completely just blew him off. And you could tell that she heard him and everything, and she just blew him off. So it's hey, if you're out in the park, I don't even care if you're on your lunch, at least say, hey, I'll be back in 5 minutes or something like that. No, she just walked off.
Yeah, I'm wondering if she was told to be that way, because it was it's in Rey's character to be with kids. Is it in Black Widow's character to say hi to kids? Not really. I don't think that should matter.
Maybe that's not the best character to put in your park.
Well, I also think that you should be able to break character. For something like that, the kids want to take pictures with you. That's totally normal.
Oh no, Disney cast members. Disney is real strict about that stuff.
Oh, I know.
Staying in character.
Mm-hmm.
You should just pick nicer characters then. Right?
Well, Rey's a good one. If you go with KK and Rey's there, she's gonna love it. Your little girl's gonna love it.
Oh, she doesn't care about Star Wars whatsoever.
Really?
We go to the store the other day, and they have this Rey Barbie doll, right? And I'm like, oh, Kaylin, look at this. This Barbie doll looks pretty cool. It has a lightsaber and stuff. She's like, no, I'm gonna take this Monster High or whatever the thing is now instead.
Well, then maybe she won't love it. That's different.
Yeah, she just doesn't like Star Wars, man. It's a shame. I mean, I don't love Star Wars, but I enjoy Star Wars. I'm not nearly as a fanatic as you are. But it's a shame. My boys are into it, but Kaylin not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but what are we talking about tonight?
Nothing.
Nothing
at all. Well,
this damn thing for nothing.
All right. Well, if that's the case, see you later, everyone.
Nah, man, we're here. We're just here. Nah, this Sonic the Hedgehog. We figured we'd do something a little different. Usually we do Fab or Flub, but tonight we thought let's start off with Sonic the Hedgehog. Let's just talk about our movie, and then we'll talk more about the headlines. So, yeah, let's talk about Sonic the Hedgehog. Give it a little review.
Should we give a short, spoiler-free, 5-minute thing of what we initially thought about, and then get into the spoilers?
Sure, we can do a quick spoiler-free review.
Okay. I loved it. The end.
pleasantly surprised. And
Well, didn't you say that it's the best video game movie you've ever seen?
For the simple case of I'm having a hard time thinking of a lot of other ones, but at this present moment, before I did my research, yes, it's the best video game movie I've ever seen.
Well, I think you'd be right in that. It depends on what you want to count a video game movie, because like if you want to count Jumanji as a video game movie, then Jumanji might be a bit better.
Adaptation is the exact word that I said.
Yeah, but if I'm going to go off of adaptation, I think Sonic might be the best video game adaptation movie we've ever seen. I actually like the Warcraft movie. I understand it's not great, but I enjoy it. Assassin's Creed movie, same thing. I think I just like video games so much. I like seeing them adapted into movies. Tomb Raider, I think, was good. Not great, but it was good. I enjoyed it. But Sonic was awesome. I really enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed Detective Pikachu. Like, it was funny. My wife hated that movie.
yeah, I thought that movie was trash.
I liked it.
Detective Pikachu was trash.
I liked it. But I think I like Sonic better. And Detective Pikachu is a good example. That's a video game adaptation as well. So that one counts.
The only one that you could really say is probably a good video game adaptation before Detective Pikachu and Sonic is probably Resident Evil. Would probably be the best one before those two came out.
Are they good or are they just profitable?
So you're discrediting all the Tomb Raider movies, and
I didn't really care for the Tomb Raider movies with Angelina Jolie. I thought that she looked like her character, and it was true, like a true representation of what that character looks like. It just, they weren't that entertaining for me. Now, Mortal Kombat's a pretty good one.
Mortal Kombat, yeah.
But
Mortal Kombat's fun, but is it good? I don't know.
The original Mortal Kombat is a pretty awesome movie, dude.
I like it. I like it. I remember seeing it when I was a kid, and I loved it.
But I'm looking at a list right now, and it's just constant letdown after letdown. The Need for Speed movie starring Aaron Paul, Max Payne with Mark Wahlberg.
Well, that wasn't even. I mean, the Need for Speed movie, you can't even really call it Need for Speed. It was just a racing movie that with that name slapped on it, like
Rampage. The one with
I actually like Rampage.
I like
for what it is. It's a fun movie because I like the Rock's his God, what the hell's the word I'm looking for? I like his relationship with the gorilla, and like when the gorilla keeps flipping him off at the beginning and stuff. Like,
do you like what he's cooking?
Yeah, and then at the end when he pretends to be dead and the Rock's all sad and he's like, "I saw you open your eye," and he just like flips him off. Like, I just thought Rampage was actually pretty decent.
You know, I have it on my Vudu account and still have not seen it. It came free. I bought something and that came free with it. And I still haven't seen it just because it looked like a gorilla version of what's the other one that he did? Skyscraper.
Nah, not really. But I mean, it's loosely based on the game. So I mean, it's still a fun movie. I would say check it out.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll take your word for it. But yeah, there hasn't been that many. Like Prince of Persia, I liked to an extent, but it's definitely not as good as the game ever was. Like, you know, I think what Sonic has going for him is that today's youth recognizes him more so from the cartoons and stuff than they do the video games. Like I had to explain to our babysitter last night that Sonic the Hedgehog was a video game first. She had no idea.
Really?
Yeah, she thought it was a cartoon series because there's a lot of cartoons, even the old ones on Netflix as well, and they think it's cartoons because the Sonic games haven't been successful in 15 years. You know?
Well, I think that I would recheck that because they just released that Sonic Mania that was the redone like the original. That was a huge hit last year.
Did it do well? Because I have that on my Nintendo Switch just because I'm a Sonic fan, but I didn't know if it did well because I also had Sonic Generations on the PS3 that I thought was
that one sucked, but Sonic Mania did really well.
Well, that's good to know. But before that, I mean, they started changing the style of the games and everything like that, where it became much more of like a fast-paced, like ever since the Sega Saturn, I would say. It became much more fast-paced style games where you're running on a track a lot of the time and things like that. Like it was no longer that side-scrolling. Mario made that transition really well. Sonic, I think, had hiccups.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy any of the 3D Sonic games. I've only really ever enjoyed the side-scrolling stuff.
Really, not even the stuff on the not even the stuff on the Dreamcast.
No, not really.
Sonic is it
Sonic Adventure?
But if I'm honest, I stopped playing Sonic once I hit my teenage years. I don't dislike it. I just hasn't kept my interest. But I also don't play the Mario games anymore either. I enjoy that stuff. I just haven't been picking it up. I got more into the Assassin's Creeds and Destinies, and
if I can't shoot or stab someone, I'm not playing it.
Kinda.
Well, the thing with Mario, though, is Mario never really has had like a misstep, except with the movie. But the video games in general, like normally it's hit after hit after hit. And
yeah, they're all.
I'm sure why Sonic didn't have that same appeal, because Sonic was beloved when I was a kid. Like in the 90s and stuff, Sonic and Mario were nearly equal.
Mario translates easier to a 3D world because he's not like a super fast. He's not really a superhero. He's just a cartoon plumber. Whereas Sonic, he just doesn't translate as well. It's not that you can't do it. It's just it's harder to do it in a 3D world as opposed to a side scroller when the game was designed to be going around loops and grabbing coins and jumping, and it was more of a really fast platformer.
I think. Sorry. Go ahead.
You're good. You're good.
I think Mario does better because it's the opposite of Sonic, where Mario is a real world. He's based real world, and then he goes into the like other world instead of being from outer space or being from an alien world. He's the Earthling that's being transported to a different universe and location. So that's why I think his 3D side scroller or 3D versions were translated much better.
All right,
because it was more believable.
Let me ask you guys this, and this is not a spoiler for the movie, because I know we're not going into those yet. Based on the trailers, even, Sonic is transported to Earth. From the games I've played, I don't remember that being a thing.
It's not.
Okay, so that's not usually what happens in the game.
No, it basically it makes you believe that Dr. Robotnik is the only human in this world. You never see another human that I can think of.
Yeah.
And that it's full of animals and stuff like that, but Sonic and his friends, because the first game he's saving these little animals, like you have to jump on these pods with the little spring on top, and you jump on the pods and you release all the animals because Dr. Robotnik's trying to collect all the animals to like power his machine or something like that. It's basically 101 Dalmatians, if you think about it. And Sonic and Tails, Tails isn't even in the first one. It's just Sonic. Sonic is like a regular animal. He's just like highly progressed. And I don't know if it's from a science experience. It's never really explained. Yeah. But it makes you think that he's kind of like the protector of all these little animals. Whereas this movie, it basically Dr. Robotnik, Sonic, it's reverse. Sonic is entering into his world.
Yeah.
Which you kind of would have to do that because I think a movie where it was all CGI with just Jim Carrey wouldn't have succeeded.
Well, yeah, I mean, later on down the line, when you got to the Dreamcast version, that's when they kind of mashed the two worlds where Sonic's world was actually inhabited with people because they had like towns you would go to and you'd see people at casinos, and it was kind of like these anthropomorphic beings lived with normal people in games later on down the line.
I don't remember that game very well.
From the Dreamcast version?
I own it. I have it here, but it's been so long since I played that. And honestly, when it comes to Sonic, I remember Sonic 1 and 2 and 3D Blast the best. But Sonic Adventure, I remember it being fun, but I just don't remember the dynamics of that game.
So, what did you guys think about the movie before we start getting into the nitty-gritty spoilery stuff? I know you loved it, Lance. What about you, Matt?
I was pleasantly surprised by it.
So you liked it?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It was just I was surprised by it because you had all the controversy. You had the first trailer that came out, and everybody hated the design of Sonic. And to their credit, the writers and directors and producers and the people behind the scenes of this movie said, okay, we're going to push this movie out. We're going to redesign Sonic. And they redesigned them, and they came out with what you got now, which was a perfect looking version of Sonic. And, I still was kind of optimistic about the movie. Like, all right, do I really want to see this? And it was like, I think Lance and I talked last time I was on the show, saying that you almost feel obligated to see this movie because the people went back and redesigned this character. They actually listened to us. They actually listened to the fan outcry.
Right.
And they went back and redid everything. And you almost felt obligated to see that for this reason. And that's kind of why I went into it. I was like, I'm going to go see it just because, they finally listened to us. And I was surprised at how good it was. It was cheesy, but it wasn't overly cheesy. And it felt like it was a hit. I laughed. There were a lot of points where I actually laughed out loud, and it was a nice kind of walk down memory lane for me. So
yeah,
it definitely feels like there's the cheesiness, but then there's also some moments that kind of go over kids' heads a little bit. A couple of lines that you definitely know the kids in the audience are not getting that. And I think that's what makes the perfect kids movie. I think that's why Shrek was so successful, is because parents and kids could both enjoy this movie for different reasons. And I think Sonic not to the extent that Shrek is, because Shrek has some themes in it that are Sonic doesn't even touch. You know what I mean? One scene in particular is when Pinocchio says he's wearing lady panties. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing like that in this movie. But it's definitely enjoyable enough for the parents. Anna and I went by ourselves last night. We didn't take the kids. I took the kids again this morning because there was a special event. But Anna wanted to go by herself so she could enjoy the movie and not have to worry about our kids and stuff. And her, who has no emotional attachment to the character whatsoever, she loved it. Much more than Detective Pikachu. She hated Detective Pikachu. And I only like Detective Pikachu because of Ryan Reynolds. But she loved this movie. And I was surprised by that it translated beyond fans of the video game. And I think that might be something that most of these video game adaptations kind of lose sight of. They don't really appeal to people that aren't fans.
Well, I think this movie was aimed at the parents and adults. I think it was aimed at people who grew up with this character. Because honestly, if you're a little kid now, how do you have any sort of knowledge of who Sonic or what Sonic is? It's going to be from your parents, because there hasn't been any recent cartoons. There hasn't been any really recent stuff. So it's going to be these parents showing your kids the video games like Sonic Mania that came out, or showing them the Netflix, the old cartoon on Netflix. And it's the parents introducing the kids to these. And like, there's so many kids in this, but there was so many just adults too. And you could kind of tell where the line of, okay, this person was obviously an old school Sonic fan, as to where these little kids, their parents are giving them this. So it's not like, it's something that's cool that you don't get a lot, where you see these parents passing something that down from their childhood to their kids.
Right. I feel like Ninja Turtles was kind of like that for my kids and I, because they don't watch the new stuff. I won't allow it. So they don't watch it. They don't watch the new stuff. So I was able to show them the old cartoons, the old movies and stuff like that. So their appreciation for Ninja Turtles is the vintage stuff. Sonic was like that too with my boys. They know him because I bought that new Sega Genesis Classic Mini that they came out with to compete with the Nintendo, which is a fantastic system, by the way. And they play it all the time, specifically the Sonic games on there. That's why they love to play it. And that's the whole reason I bought it. There's 40 games on this thing. I play 5 of them, and it's cool. Like, my theater was probably 70% parents, 70 to 80%, like, not parents, adults. There was barely any kids in that movie theater last night.
Now that I think about it, that's the case for me too. I went and saw it in Dolby as well on Thursday night, opening, and it was pretty much all adults. Now, I didn't expect the movie to do as well financially as it has done, because my theater was pretty empty. I didn't have very many people in there. So it sounds like
you also go at like 2 a.m.
No, I went at 7 p.m.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
you went on a school night though too.
I went on. It was the Thursday night.
Yeah.
But I go to Thursday night showings all the time. That's usually what I go to movies. And maybe it's my AMC. I usually go to the Cinemark, but I've started going to the AMC recently. Cinemark's usually pretty full. So maybe it's just that my theater isn't as popular. But because Gentleman was the same thing, but Gentleman didn't do well. So that wasn't as big of a surprise. But Sonic, it's been 60 million already. And that's great.
Well, they're projecting 65 million this weekend.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't
projecting.
I don't think it's hit
fair
near
enough.
that yet.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's already made more than the freaking Harley Quinn movie, though.
Well, Harley Quinn.
I mean, how much
the
Harley
opening
Quinn
weekend?
made in the opening weekend?
Oh yes, it's exceeded Harley Quinn. The article I was reading, but Harley Quinn is still kind of making the same amount every weekend. I think this weekend they're projected to make 20 or 25 million. Their opening weekend it was 33 million. So it's not a steep drop off. So there's still like a steady flow of traffic going to that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's more having to do with the critics are just lying about it. I mean, because when I talk to my friends, nobody liked it. But when I look at online, it's like the greatest movie that's ever been, that DC's ever made.
Yeah.
You know.
Anyway, I didn't want to get back into the Harley Quinn topic. I know there's very strong, very strong feelings.
Well, I mean, on the Harley Quinn topic and Sonic, it's a great time to bring this up. Do you think this opens the door, Sonic specifically? Do you think with the success of this movie, it opens the door to show creators that maybe sometimes, not always, because it can go bad, maybe sometimes when there's a bunch of fan outcry, it's worth listening to them?
Yes, I think it does show us that. Because I do think that if they had kept the same design, this movie would have flopped.
I wouldn't have seen it. That's the same reason I don't watch the new Ninja Turtles. I will not watch that cartoon because of what they did to the character's design and what they did to the backstory. Sonic would have been the same thing.
I would have gone to see Sonic purely because we do this podcast. But I was so much less interested in seeing it until they did the redesign. They did the redesign, and it wasn't so much what you said, Matt, where it was like a sense of obligation. Granted, there was a little bit of that, but it was also like, oh, wow, this looks good now. I'm excited. Yeah. Like, where really the only thing when I first saw the trailer that had me even remotely excited was Jim Carrey as Robotnik. I always thought that was going to be fun to see. And so I'm going to give my quick thoughts, and then let's just start jumping into the spoilers, because I think there's a lot for us to talk about for this movie, and we haven't even got into it. I have a whole thing of notes of stuff I wanted to touch on, which I'm going to actually reference right now, and I'll just my spoiler-free thoughts. So Jim Carrey was awesome as Robotnik. I thought he did a really good job, which I expected. He was a little over the top at times. There were some times where I was like, a little too much, but that's also Jim Carrey.
Did you pick up that he's playing different characters as Robotnik? There's lines that are like directly out of Cable Guy in that movie. He's taking stuff from The Mask and he's taking a lot of stuff from previous characters he's played to bring to Robotnik.
A lot of his mannerisms reminded me of Ace Ventura and the Riddler.
Yep, and Ace Ventura too. Yep.
When he's dancing in that truck.
That was pretty.
That feels like the Riddler. Well, it felt like the Riddler too.
Yeah, it felt like a bit of both.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but so I really like Jim Carrey. I thought Ben Schwartz, if you don't know who that is, he's from Parks and Rec. He's
John Ralphio.
John Ralphio. Yeah, he was the voice of Sonic. I thought he did a great job.
Isn't he in Stranger Things?
No. No.
He's not in Stranger Things?
No.
His brother is.
Is that actually his brother? I don't think it is.
I don't think so, no.
There's a YouTube video with the two of them because they're actually really good friends because they look alike.
That's
they've made like a YouTube video of the two of them like talking and kind of like acting like each other.
I know someone, I think it was one of the creators of Stranger Things, said, mostly as a joke, but that why am I forgetting his name from Stranger Things? The character Steve from Stranger Things.
It's Joe something. That's his real name.
Yeah, but the character is the dad of Jean Ralphio. That's that's the joke that one of the creators made, which would mean that he's going to become a doctor. But yeah, James Marsden was good. The sister-in-law was really good. There's a sweet moment between the niece of the sister-in-law and Sonic that I don't want to spoil right now. That was really good. But yeah, just overall, I thought it was a really good movie. Lots of heart. Just a good time. There were some times where the CGI was pretty crappy, but overall it was good. Overall,
a movie that's on a movie that's on a $95 million. It cost $95 million to make this movie, and it wasn't even Sonic's CGI that was crappy. It was the ships that I've noticed.
Well, there was a moment at the end where Sonic is sitting in between two people that it looked so bad.
Oh yeah, because they made him shorter, right?
Yeah, they did.
Than the other one. And I think that when his hand goes across and it's holding his wife, that originally the head was right here and now it's down here. So it looked really weird.
That makes sense because I was actually watching for moments where I didn't watch that closely, but I was watching for moments where like their eye levels weren't right because I knew that the new Sonic was shorter, but I didn't catch very many. But that's right. That's probably why.
There's a scene when they're line dancing in the bar that is really bad too.
Really?
Like it's Sonic. It looks really bad, like really out of place compared to everyone else. And the CGI is just terrible.
There's a scene at the bar that I want to talk about. So let's go ahead and throw up the spoiler warning here. Are you guys good to get into spoilers now?
Yeah. Oh, I was just thinking, you don't think that big red thing at the bottom there
it does,
enough warning?
But for the listeners,
I don't know if I'm good. I think I need about 5 more minutes before we.
I'm thinking more for the listeners. Now they know. They don't see the banner. Only the YouTubers do. Anyway, so let's talk about that bar scene because this is a part that I didn't like as much. So the bar sequence was pretty good until the fight started, and they just straight up ripped off Quicksilver. And they did it better. And they did it poorly. I think they did it worse.
Oh, I thought they did way better.
The Quicksilver scene was funny, but I felt like this was a better scene. But it did cheapen it. It did cheapen it because it felt like a ripoff.
I didn't think it was better at all. I thought the Quicksilver one was way funnier.
I don't know if funnier is the reason why I like the Sonic one. I think the Sonic one, just like with the cord that he's wrapping between their legs and stuff, I just felt like a lot of it was like a little bit more inventive, I guess.
I just like that you got that it was from his point of view. So you're seeing how Sonic sees the world when he's and the rest of the world sees Sonic when he's running super fast. So it's like from his point of view. So I thought it fit perfectly.
It fit well. It just felt like a real big ripoff of the Quicksilver stuff.
To be honest, though, the Quicksilver thing was not original.
It's a speedster trope.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Flash has done that too.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to point out something really dumb with that scene that I shouldn't notice these things, but I tend to notice these things. He's in super speed, right? Okay. He takes a selfie with that guy. Is the camera now in super speed?
Yes. I noticed, dude, you're not alone. I was thinking the same thing.
I was like, wouldn't he be out of the picture before the camera actually caught the image?
Oh, yeah. And the phone, he wouldn't have been able to get the phone to operate that quickly. No. It was funny, and I let it go, but I thought the same thing in that moment.
It didn't cheapen it at all, but I was just kind of looking at it. I was like, well, you asked me to stretch my disbelief just a little bit, and that for some reason that I couldn't get past.
Well, my disbelief was already stretched when they showed him going 300 miles an hour, but 300 miles an hour means that he can do all of that within like a split second. No, he's going faster than 300 miles an hour to do that. But whatever, it was. I still enjoyed the scene. I just think that it was a big ripoff, and I liked the Quicksilver ones better. That was one of my least favorite scenes in the movie, if I'm being honest.
Really?
Yeah. I loved the movie, though. I liked it. That's what I'm saying. It was really good. I loved the movie. But that particular scene was one of my least favorites because I just felt like it was a ripoff.
Yeah.
and a cheap ripoff. So
Yeah.
but you guys liked it then, so I'm in the minority.
You got his little trope where he eats the chili dogs, and you got the callback to the cartoon where he's all about chili dogs, and I thought it was a fun moment.
And maybe that's part of it. I didn't watch the cartoon. That's not a side of Sonic that I'm familiar with at all.
Well, the chili dogs thing felt like the Twinkie thing in the Quicksilver. There was a Twinkie scene in the Quicksilver scene, and the chili dog scene felt like that was that part. You know what I mean? But I do remember his infatuation with chili dogs in the.
That's why that scene felt so ripped off to me, because it wasn't just the fast guy going around beating up a bunch of people. It was also like literally there's a scene from the Quicksilver one in First Class, or not First Class. Is it? Yeah, it is First. No, Days of Future Past, where he like puts his finger out and he grabs something and he eats it, and then it just, I don't know. They were like cut for cut the exact same. That's what I didn't like. It just felt like they completely ripped it off, and that was what my issue was. Not that they used the trope so much as how they used it. That was, I guess, my bigger issue. But it was funny. I still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, though, it's a speedster trope.
Yeah.
I think, though, my favorite part of this movie was just the nostalgic callbacks to the video games.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene in the movie where he's running down that building and gets caught by one of those missiles, right? And the explosion happens. And as soon as the explosion happens, the rings from his bag kind of sprinkle out.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
And I'm watching that. I was like, that was such a cool way to like do that scene. And then when he hits the ground, it like stays there long enough to see the rings also hit the ground, just like it would. And it kind of makes that jingling sound like it would in the video games.
Yeah.
And I loved that. I loved it so much. And then there's in that same scene just before that where he pushes them off the building and he's standing there and the missiles are coming towards him and he sticks his foot out and starts tapping it and looks at his watch.
I love that.
That's straight from the video games too. If you leave your Sega Genesis and you don't touch it, he goes into that pose and is like checking his watch, wondering where the hell you are, and starts tapping his foot. And it was straight out of that. So the callbacks to the video games I thought were pretty awesome.
I believe the final fight scene with the Robotnik is straight out of Sonic Pinball. When he's bouncing off of everything.
Most of the Sonic games from the Sega Genesis eras, you hit them by rolling into a ball and like you jump into them and kind of.
Well, no, I know that, but like I'm saying, like when he's bouncing off buildings and bouncing back and forth to take out Robotnik at the end, that's straight out of Sonic Pinball.
I didn't catch that in the moment, but I completely agree with you. I do.
Okay.
There's a lot of callbacks that are directly for the fans. There's a lot of fan love. There's a lot of Sonic fan love in this movie, and you can tell that the creator of this movie and the director was a huge Sonic fan, and he paid a lot of love to this character and the fans and the games. And
one of my favorite moments in the movie was when the niece comes down with the red shoes and gives them to Sonic. That's one of those moments for me where it was like, oh yeah, he's got the shoes.
Right.
I loved that. That was a great payoff.
It even had like the attached socks to the top of it. Like,
yeah, it was freaking awesome. Or the rolling into a ball, like you said. Like there was a lot. There's one thing that didn't happen, unless I missed it, that I was a little disappointed by, but it didn't totally tarnish my enjoyment of the movie. It was just, I was really hoping to see him roll into a ball and charge up in place, but I never saw that happen. And I think because that was one of my favorite things to do when playing the games, is I would roll into a ball, charge up, and then
you could run through almost in Sonic 1, you could run through almost the entire level doing that.
Yeah. Like
and just mowing over bad guys. Like
I was really hoping that's how he was going to finish Robotnik. I was hoping he was going to charge up and then and like plow through him.
I think they took his power set more from Sonic Unleashed than the original game. That's why I don't think you got the charge up.
Mm-hmm.
The lightning scene. So when he's getting charged with the lightning, kind of like Thor does, and the ship's rising and you just see the back of Sonic, real small, and the ship's kind of rising over. That's straight out of Sonic Unleashed. That scene is straight out of Sonic Unleashed. And then when you see his close up of his eyes and the lightning in his eyes, that's also out of Sonic Unleashed. So all the lightning moments, that was straight from Sonic Unleashed.
That's awesome. This is why I was excited you were coming on the show, Lance, because even though I'm like the resident gamer on our show, you're the Sonic fan. Like, this isn't my area of gaming, and you know this stuff way better than me. This is
I'm
awesome.
a huge vintage gamer, but Sonic has always been my first love. Always. Yeah. I own every single Sonic game that's ever been released, except for the new platform stuff. I haven't bought any of that. But for the PS3 and prior, I own every single Sonic game that's ever been released. And I love them all. Like, they're even the crappy ones that were on Wii, like Sonic Black Order, I think it's called, is a god-awful game. But I own it because I love him, you know? And then even when they start introducing some of the characters that I don't really like Amy Jones and the crocodile dude that I don't remember his name, and basically anything created after Knuckles, I don't like. Yeah. So it's Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and then everybody else can go to hell.
Yeah, speaking of Knuckles, so we know from the after credit scene that Tails is coming, which that gave me pretty goosebumps. I was so happy about that. Do you think that it seems like since it's doing well, it's probably going to get a sequel? Will Knuckles be in the sequel or not until the threequel? What do you think?
I think it's going to it would make sense if they showed some of his friends because Tails is talking to somebody. Yeah. You know, I found him, and so obviously there's people there.
I think he's talking to himself. I think that's more of like an internal discussion.
Well, he's talking to his watch.
That's what I noticed.
He's got the little reader, the little meter that's like registering Sonic's like his electricity or his whatever he gives off, and that's how he's trying to find him. So I think he's more so talking to himself.
Well, if you watch in like Sonic Boom and those cartoons, he frequently has this watch that he's talking to like Amy Jones and stuff. There's like a home base. So he is talking to other people. I don't know if in the movie he's talking to himself. Like, we'll never know because we didn't hear a voice on the other end. But I know in the cartoons he often talks to himself or talks to people through his watch. The one thing I didn't like about that scene, that I don't think it was necessary to add it. Sonic 2 is when Tails was introduced, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And one of the things that was awesome about Sonic 2 is Tails would fly and Sonic would grab his hands and Tails would, like certain parts of the game, you had to use Tails to beat it, right?
Yeah.
He would carry you. When you did that, you lose your speed ability, right? Because Tails doesn't have that speeding ability. He can just fly. That's his only ability. In the movie, they give him the speed ability, and I didn't like that very much.
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
Oh, when he flies away, it zooms and has a blur that's going behind him. You didn't notice that he had speed? Did you catch that, Matt?
I mean, I caught it, but I just took it like his flight. His flight is faster. I don't think he's going to be as fast as Sonic, or it wouldn't be speed, but he's just flying, and flying is usually faster than running. I wouldn't expect him to just like hover in place, kind of like he does in the game, or slowly.
I would be okay if he was moving kind of faster, but he was leaving a jet stream. Like, he was zooming. Like, it was a long jet stream.
That didn't bother me.
And one of the things, like, having Tails was always a disadvantage because he was always slower. You know, if you wanted to play him in there's some games where you could play him as a primary character, and he's always slower than Sonic.
I always
could fly.
I always chose Tails, and I think that's why I was so excited when that moment came up. Tails is
I love seeing him.
I like him even more. I think I like him more than Sonic, so I was so excited about that moment. I wouldn't say anything about it.
Yeah, I don't think it really bothered me because I was just like, "Holy crap, it's Tails!" And you know, I didn't really care at that point. I was just
I was kind of expecting it. I don't think you can have a Sonic movie and not have a single appearance of Tails.
Well, I think, even a movie that isn't going to do well, they try to tease a sequel. So having Tails as an after credits made total sense. Wasn't surprised. I just loved it.
Right.
Yeah. So I loved the Tails scene. I can see where you're coming from with the speed thing. I don't have that issue though. Here was something that I wasn't a huge fan of. And this is me being nitpicky, probably. Um,
The
Why-
tail scene is on YouTube.
oh, nice.
I just
Well-
found it.
Well, here's what I didn't like. Freaking Sonic criticizing Tom, I think his name is, criticizing Tom's dreams of wanting to be a cop in San Francisco. What is wrong with Tom wanting to be a cop in San Francisco? That is a completely reasonable.
I think because Sonic has
career
put
move.
him on. I think it's because Sonic has put him on such a pedestal of that he is Green Hill. You know, he's the protector of Green Hill, and he always saw him as kind of that idol of protecting Green Hill. He's like,
And
why
Sonic's
would
a
you?
kid. And Sonic's a kid, and so I get that too.
Well, I mean, his wife even says it at the beginning of the movie, you know, that his Wachowski is their last name, I think. And she's like, this town's always been protected by a Wachowski. And are you sure you want to leave? And I don't think he was necessarily criticizing his dream. I think it's that he didn't understand. He didn't understand why
He is a
had
child.
he had to go to a big city to live out his dream when he already had that in this town where people looked up to him. And like when he's talking about how like, well, people call me to change their tire or shovel them out of the snow, and he was like, yeah, but they could call anybody, but they call you. And
Right.
he's just kind of calling him out, saying like, I understand you have these dreams, but why do you have to go to San Francisco to look like you're missing something when you have all that right here? You just don't see it.
Right. And then in the end of the movie, he sees it by saving Sonic's life.
Yeah, and I
Right.
liked that. I liked that he chose Green Hill. That made sense. It was more just the criticism, I guess. Okay, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, that is fast. That didn't
Like
bother me.
he
though.
has the speed of Sonic in this image.
Well, you don't know. I mean, they're not racing, so you can't
I know it just
compare the
it
two.
just-
But I'm sure
just-
next to Sonic, he looks like he's slow. But
I just don't like when movies feel the need to like add things or take away things from the character that we love. Like it's one of the things I hate about the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy.
I think you're
Where-
just nitpicking, Lance.
I agree.
But Sonic is one of my most favorite things in this world. So
Yeah.
like I have like a certain amount of purism for it. You know, I do love it. My earliest memories are my brother and I playing Sonic 2 and playing the racing. There's a racing multiplayer mode in Sonic 2 that we would just play over and over and over again for hours. So there is sentimental stuff there, and I am a purist when it comes to Sonic. I hate it. For instance, I hated when they changed the color of Sonic's eyes from completely black to that blue around it when they did it 10 years ago or whatever like that. I hated that they added Sonic wearing a scarf. Like I just hate like
You don't like
Sonic
change.
is with Sonic. No. And with Turtles too. Turtles is the same way. I
I get
hate
it.
that.
You're sentimental, and I get that because Turtles, I'm the same way too. I can handle some of the redesign, like the 2007 movie. They definitely looked different in that animated movie than in the cartoons growing up, but I didn't mind that. But yeah,
I
the
didn't mind that
drastic-
one either.
The drastic change to like the more recent cartoon, I'm not interested. They look awful.
Well, they didn't just change their design like that. They made Leonardo a completely different character.
Well, they completely
He's-
changed their entire backstory in those more recent movies.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with the Ninja Turtle. But you got to understand, Ninja Turtles, even those have changed from the original source material. The original
Right.
source material, they were killing people. They kill someone in the first issue.
Yeah.
You know, so
They were
it's like,
very dark.
yeah,
they were
and
very
all
dark.
their bandanas were red, and they didn't all have individual colors till later on, and you know, it's just so. I mean, the Turtles, it's just progressed and changed it all the way through. It's not.
But you could argue that the comic books before the 80s cartoon, the comic books did not hold a place in pop culture like the 80s cartoon is. So if you ask most Turtle
think they do.
purists,
I think they do
But
because without those comics, you wouldn't have the cartoon.
but a lot of people back then didn't even know they came from a comic book. You know, when I was a little kid watching Turtles, I had no idea.
Yeah,
I
'cause you were a
didn't
little
know-
kid.
But
I didn't know until like 5 years ago.
Wow.
Honestly,
yeah, I don't think that's a common held thought. You know, like I know that because I'm a huge Ninja Turtles fan. I have the old Eastman and Laird comics. Like I have series from from that comic line where it is black and white with the red bandanas and stuff. But when I was even 12 years old, dude, I had no idea it was based off a comic book. It wasn't until I was maybe 17, 18 when I could actually go out and afford to buy things like comic books.
Matt, we bow to your knowledge and your expertise. I bow.
But do you think it's wrong to be a purist about some of those things?
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm guilty of it too. I'd be a liar if I said I wasn't. But I think it's wrong to be as strict as we are sometimes.
And it didn't ruin the fact that I didn't not like it enough to ruin the movie for me. It's just I kind of wish they didn't do those things.
Because then you should be sitting here complaining that Sonic had blue arms instead of tan arms, and it's
and I didn't like that. Like character design, when they changed character designs, I really hated when they changed Harley Quinn. It like pissed me off. But to change the superpowers of somebody, like what I was saying about Spider-Man, when he didn't have web shooters, it was like installed in his wrists, right? It was part of his powers.
That happens in the comic book though too. He gets internal webbing. He has internal webbing up until they do the one more day storyline, and then when it reverts back, that's when he goes back to having the web shooters. There is a point in time in the comic book where he gets the internal webbing.
I just think it depends on what we're talking about. Little tweaks I can manage. It's big stuff that I get a little bit more frustrated by. Like, to bring it back to Harley Quinn conversation, a lot of big fans hated Cassandra Cain because she's completely unrecognizable from her comic book counterpart. That I think is fair to be pissed off about. But if she was almost exactly like the character, but her outfit looked a little different, you might be just a little nitpicky.
What if all of a sudden Batman has laser eyes?
Do you have a right to be pissed off?
Yeah,
That's
you're making big changes.
Okay, so now they gave Tails super speed.
Okay. I don't agree with you still, but okay.
I don't either, because it's never been established that he doesn't have that. You're looking at him and the game playing against Sonic. He's going to be slower to Sonic. There's nothing that says Tails doesn't fly faster than someone on Earth would, or what you would see. It's just that Sonic is always faster than him. So you don't have that.
I'll wait until that. We're pretty much guaranteed that a sequel is going to come out now. So I'll just wait.
You don't have that established. I mean, Tails can still turn into a ball and do the speed up and dash too. So, I mean, he's got to have some sort of super speed, right?
I guess.
Because he can still spin dash too. So, I mean, it's never been established. You always see Tails against Sonic. So you don't establish that he's got that super flight, the speed, faster flying than on the ground. But I agree. I think Sonic is still faster to him, and that's why in the game it showed like that. They should make Tails slower to make you understand that Sonic's faster without breaking the game.
Right. I guess. Yeah.
Now
I'll wait till the sequel comes out. I mean,
now if you want to be like, oh, I'm nitpicky at the Ninja Turtles movies, the new ones, well, that's fantastic because they completely changed the origin story of the Turtles.
Yeah, aren't they aliens?
What did they do?
No, they're not. They were pets. They were pets in April O'Neil's dad's lab.
That's right.
And he created them in the lab. And
they were going to be aliens, and people got pissed.
And Splinter was an actual just lab rat, and she named all the turtles. And April O'Neil named all the turtles, and Splinter didn't. And so they completely changed the origin story. Like he taught himself. Splinter taught himself karate out of an old manual that he found instead of being a person who was mutated into a rat because
and it I remember that too because it takes away the like in the original movie the rat cuts off Shredder's ear or something like that.
Well, so there's like that Shredder he attacks Shredder's face. Well, even the original 90s movie is different than the origins of the comic book, but he attacks Shredder and scratches his face, so Shredder lops off his ear. He tries to kill him and misses.
That's what it is. But it created this tension between the two characters.
That's one of the greatest moments in cinema history, by the way. When you have a little animatronic rat karate fighting Shredder.
Yeah.
Because
But
I mean, the original is it's Oroku. Is that
he turns into
he
Splinter.
is Hamato Yoshi, and he leaves America because Shredder kills his wife or girlfriend that they're both fighting for the same person. So I mean, they just made slight tweaks, and he hides out and he gets the mutagen put on him, and he's playing with a rat, and that's why he's turned into a rat. So
Yeah,
that's why in the comic book series, like it's completely different. That's why they're enemies, because they were fighting over the same lover and the love of the same woman, and Shredder got pissed and killed her.
See, so that's fair. So it depends on where you come into things, because for Lance, you and I, we came into it with the movies and the cartoon from like the 80s. That's our intro point to the Turtles, which is a vastly different origin than the comics. So I don't know if your first introduction was the comics or not, Matt, but for someone whose was, they are probably just like you with the Tails thing, and they're pissed at the Turtles and have been for the last 40 years. So
yeah.
It's perspective, Yeah, I don't know. Like
It just
Lord of the
depends
Rings.
on what things you hold dear.
Absolutely.
Like, for instance, I'm a huge Power Rangers fan, and when they changed the suits in this new movie, I thought it was a little bit of a ripoff from Iron Man, but it still didn't bother me.
Yeah.
But the big thing that bothered me, that annoyed the hell out of me about the new Power Rangers movie, was the fact that Zordon was the Red Ranger. The fact that Zordon was a Ranger. Yeah, that too.
Stupid.
But the thing is, with
Rita was
with
terrible.
Zordon in the show, it never explains where he comes from. Like, he's just kind of there.
He's an interdimensional being that was trapped.
I didn't mind him being the Red Ranger, but I hated Rita being the Green Ranger.
I hated Rita being the Red Ranger.
Rita just sucked.
Yeah,
she was supposed to be on the moon in that little capsule thing.
She should have been dubbed and everything. They should have taken footage from an old Japanese movie and dubbed over it in English. That's what they should have.
Yeah, I'm just sad we'll never see a sequel to that.
But get ready, because now that Hasbro owns the rights to Power Rangers, you're gonna get a Power Ranger movie every year just like you got a Transformers movie.
So, reboot though.
If it's good, I don't mind. So I was gonna bring up something else as far as like changing things. I love the Lord of the Rings movies. They're awesome. And so they made some changes from the books though that I don't like, but whatever. I still love the movies. Here's a big change. So in the third movie / third book, you remember when Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas go and get like the ghosts?
Mm-hmm.
So in the books, they get the ghosts, and then they go to the black ships and they take down the ships. That's all the ghosts do. Then the ghosts go away. Their oath has been fulfilled. It's over. They don't show up at the battle of Minas Tirith. They're not there in the books. Now, I get why they did it in the movies. It looked cool. It was pretty epic. I get it. So I'm not really mad. But I am a little disappointed because in the books, you had like a group of like 200 Rangers, just like Aragorn, who are the best fighters in like all of Middle Earth, basically, that Aragorn recruits, and they're the ones that come in the final hour and help win the battle and turn the tide. So I was a little disappointed. You know what I mean? Like, you watch the movie after reading the book, and you're like, oh man, really? The Dunedain didn't show up and save the day. It was the ghosts. It was a little disappointing, but it doesn't totally dampen my enjoyment. So, and I think that's kind of what you're saying. You still enjoyed the movie, Lance, but you're disappointed by some stuff.
I loved it. I loved this movie.
Yeah.
I was so happy last night watching this movie, like excited, like giddy about it. Like, I was really excited for this movie.
Yeah.
And was almost like sad when the notion was brought up of us not even talking about it this weekend.
We talked about that. I don't remember that ever being...
We'll talk about that later, but we had a discussion last week after the show about what movie we're going to talk about, and I was like, I really want to talk about this movie, and it was discussed not to talk about it. So I was like sad about that, like I love Sonic, but I don't know. I mean, like, I have this thing, and you
just wanted an excuse to wear the stupid hat. That's all it is. You just wanted an excuse to wear the hat.
I had to go dig this out, man. I had to go look for it.
I think, but back to your point about, the whole nostalgia thing, I think being in this medium and being podcasters like we are and being fans of all this and these movies and your original, base content versus what they're making, especially with Marvel movies and stuff. We get so hung up on that's not right. That's not comic book accurate. That's not how that's supposed to be. That's not accurate to the TV show or the game. We got to stop looking at it like that, because the real fact of it is they're going to make changes and there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily always now there's times where that makes or breaks a movie, but there's times where it kind of makes the movie a little bit better in some issues. Like they may tweak something that makes something make more sense in a show or movie versus it did in its source material.
Well, for instance, Iron Man 1, I was reading I have the Iron Man Essential, like the origin stories and all that stuff, and they changed his personality quite a bit. Like, he wasn't like a likable guy, I think, if I remember correctly.
Tony Stark has always been a drunk. He's just a drunk.
Yeah. He was like kind of a mess up, and like, but in this, in the movies, they change him into like this. He's kind of suave. He has like this Bruce Wayne way of going about himself. You know what I mean? He's good with the ladies and everything like that, but he wasn't really like that in the comics.
No,
and I was okay with that.
He's a cocky drunk. Yeah.
Yeah, I was okay with that.
They changed him to make him a likable guy to sell you to go to that movie.
They had to. They had to. Who's going to watch a movie about a drunk that gets superpowers and
builds a super suit? Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's not, they have to change some things like that. Now, I have an issue with the new Bloodshot movie. At no point does it look like he has white skin or anything like that. Like, it looks like they changed quite a bit of that movie.
Well, from my understanding, from a friend of mine who's a huge Bloodshot fan, that actually, if they're following a certain story arc, that's actually totally accurate and from the comic. So what he was saying is one of the origins of Bloodshot is that he looks like a normal person, and then near the end of the comic, he decides after beating the people that have been using him, he decides to change his appearance, and that was his own decision. Now that's what I'm hearing from my friend. So if that's the story arc they're going with, maybe that's not so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I could understand that.
Anyway,
I mean, the other thing I want to talk about this movie though is James Marsden. Like, I feel bad for that dude. I'm sitting here and I'm like, this dude has been this dude's typecast now. He's like in every movie where like the main character is like some CGI animal. He was like Peter Rabbit with Russell Brand, and now he's in Sonic, and I feel like there's like another one he was in.
That's funny. I didn't even think about Peter Rabbit, but I had the same thought as you because of Enchanted.
Enchanted, yeah. Like, he's just typecast. Like, he went from being a Cyclops to just being typecast as the
everyday man.
Yeah, everyday man. The co-star to a CGI'd animal. Yeah.
Well,
I'm trying to think of someone. I'm trying to think of something. Oh yeah, he does a good job in Westworld. I love Westworld. His role in Westworld. But I'm trying to think of who else is like that. That's like just kind of like cast as the everyday man in every movie he's in. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. But I actually looked at Jay, because Jay and I went with our kids this morning, and I'm like, dude, I kind of miss him as Cyclops, just a little bit. Like, I thought it was pretty good. It was much better than Ty. It was much better than Ty Sheridan.
Oh, I agree.
But
he could still technically be Cyclops again. That man has not aged poorly at all.
No, I thought he did a really good job in this movie.
Yeah, he did great.
And kudos to him. He deserves a win, dude. Like, he was in Superman Returns, but he was in Peter Rabbit, but like, the dude deserves a win,
Yeah. Well, what else do you guys want to talk about on this movie? I think I touched on most of the stuff I had in my notes.
James Marsden's best role ever, though, is the Taco Bell nacho fries commercials.
Oh my god.
Oh man, no, I loved the callbacks, man. I mean, I just couldn't get over the end scenes with the Green Hill Zone song kind of playing while they were painting the wall and stuff and fixing their house and everything up. And I just loved that it just seemed like a kind of fan love letter,
Yeah.
to this character that, I mean, how many people do you know that say they hate Sonic the Hedgehog as a character? Like in the 90s, it was a big Sega versus Nintendo thing. But I think most people liked both, But it's a good movie. People should take their kids to see it. If you don't have kids, still go see it. It's a good movie.
I like the way they did his effects with him running around though too, because there's one shot where like he's bouncing around really fast and like you see him like doing something else in the middle, like dancing or like giving a peace sign, and then he's you still see him like running back and forth, but you see him doing different things at different points when he's running back and forth. That I think was really cool.
I agree. I agree with that. Like the animation when he was doing that like made it really cool.
Yeah.
I do agree with Max though. I wanted to see him crouch down into a ball. The only time we ever really got that is when he's hiding from those robots in the attic and he kind of rolls out of the couch, or when he flies off the end of the truck, but we never saw him actually like roll,
Not a lot. We saw him start. Yeah, we saw him in a ball, but not much rolling.
But I almost get the feeling like he doesn't understand the extent of his powers. He knows he's fast, but you kind of get that feeling that like when he destroys Robotnik's truck, his drone truck, when he's in the ball, and James Marsden's character is like, "How are you not dead?" And he's like, "I don't know, but do you see me dancing?" It's like he doesn't understand that he can destroy things in that ball form. So it's like maybe he doesn't know how to do that yet.
No,
he's a child. He's a child.
Doesn't. Yeah.
If you had to put an age on him, how old do you think he is?
14, 15?
You think that old?
Well, yeah, because
I was gonna say like 10 or 11.
Well, he has to be older than that because they say 10 years later. So I'm basing it off of how old was he in the opening sequence when he's with the owl, and I was guessing about 4 or 5, and then it says 10 years later. Yeah. So that's why I'm thinking 14, 15.
So maybe they just age differently.
Well, he also hasn't been with anybody his entire life. So he doesn't have the opportunity to mature and grow and develop. Plus, he's an
extrovert that's been forced to be an introvert.
So he's a crazy extrovert.
Yeah, he's created this whole separate Sonic personality where he's talking back and forth to himself constantly. Yeah. And Anna looks at me and goes, "Does he talk like this in the show?" And I go, "No, not like this." And she was like, she liked that part, and I thought it was pretty funny too. That was like a new element that they added to him.
I thought it was funny and really sweet, like the moment when he's playing baseball with himself.
Yeah.
Until he gets sad, which was also really sweet as well. That was so cool, like him playing every position and all that. Like it was just so fun. There's so much heart in this movie. So many laughs. Sonic himself as a character is absolutely fantastic. I had so much fun, and I want to see it again.
I love that. Hit it to the left field. The guy's a stargazer, and he's just sitting there out there, like blowing the bubble gum on his face. And stuff. And, like when he hits the ball out there, he's out there picking, like on his belly, picking a flower, and he's like, "I got it. Okay. Oh, I missed it."
That reminds me. Another thing I really liked about this movie, this is something I hate about the Minions movies. DreamWorks has started to do this in their movies a lot, where they resort to fart and like butt jokes all the time. I felt like the humor in this, which is a Paramount movie, Sonic's humor did not resort to that for every single joke. I think they had a couple. It's a kids movie. I understand kids enjoy it.
I could only think of one fart joke.
I think there's only one.
It was in a hotel after he ate the chili dogs and he farted.
Yeah.
Yo, but dude, they topped that one off so good though, like better than any other fart joke I've ever seen.
And that one was
where he's
good.
Like, dude, you better check your fur on that one.
Yeah.
Because he says that, and I was like, holy crap, I've said that to my friends. Like, check your pants, dude. Because I think like it felt real in that moment. Whereas other fart jokes, it's like they fart and everybody laughs, and it's kind of just stupid.
Oh yeah. The jokes they were
poignant?
For kids. Yes, that too. They were for kids, but they weren't exclusively for kids. They had a lot of jokes in there that were for adults, a lot of jokes that were for kids and adults. It didn't feel like they were jokes that were only for kids, and I really enjoyed that. I felt like this was a very all ages friendly movie, and I just had so much fun with it.
Yeah, I thought it really plugged at you too, in that it made it you feel a little bit more for him, and even more sad that he created this whole world that, and all these relationships with these people that weren't even real. Like he had nobody knew he was there, but he's got like Donut Lord and the pretzel lady, and like he would sneak up to their house and watch movies with them, and and he's like,
which is creepy, but because of his circumstances, it's just like cute and sad at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And he's like watching the kids play baseball and stuff. It's
what I would have loved to see in this movie, just at one point, was him have a Wilson volleyball that kind of sits in the cave and he talks to this Wilson, just like a Castaway throwback. That would have been hilarious to have that point where he's like made these like friends to talk to. It probably would have distracted from the point that he thinks that these people that he's watching are his friends.
Yeah.
But it would have been funny to have like an exact replica of Wilson, but with his paw print.
Yeah.
On there. I thought it would have been hilarious.
That would have been funny.
But
I'm listening to the plot of the second one. If you want, you know what? Back to your Knuckles comment. I wouldn't be surprised if you get Knuckles in the second one, because I wouldn't be surprised.
I think it'll happen
because Knuckles was a bad guy at first, so I wouldn't be surprised if you have like Knuckles as being like a bounty hunter or something, and he's hunting Sonic, and that's why Tails comes.
Make him from the mushroom, like Dr. Robotnik finds him in the mushroom.
They team up, or maybe Robotnik sends him back to take down Sonic.
If I remember correctly, in Sonic versus Knuckles, which was that game where you could put another game on top of it, you remember, and you could play Sonic in any of the previous games.
Nope.
I think he was created by Dr. Robotnik.
Well, if you look back at the opening sequence where Sonic's when they get attacked by those creatures, they almost look very much like Knuckles. They kind of got that same like dread hair, like mane that Knuckles does.
I'm gonna have to see it again.
It wouldn't surprise me if Knuckles was created by Robotnik or whatever to hunt Sonic, and that's why Tails is coming to find him, because he's being hunted.
I could see, Robotnik finds a way to create a portal to other worlds. He goes to Sonic's world. Maybe you're right. Maybe those creatures are Knuckles' race or whatever. And he takes one of them and kind of genetically engineers it to have Sonic's powers and all that. That could be kind of
cool. Knuckles doesn't really have Sonic's powers. That his power is that he can crush through rock and climb walls with his. That's
clearly
the thing.
I'm not a Sonic fan. I don't remember. I thought he did
Knuckles.
He could also
Knuckles
glide.
have these. He glides too, but his Knuckles have these points on it, and he can climb up walls.
Okay.
I'm trying to find the images of those things from the beginning of the movie, and I can't.
It's gonna be hard to find. They weren't in the trailers.
Here, let me. Here, let me click on my screen share.
Pulling up his pirated copy of the movie. Just kidding.
Yeah, a little bit, don't they?
Look at the knuckle. Look at the knuckle right here.
Yeah, a little bit.
I can't see. Yeah, you're right there. Yeah. Huh? Maybe.
No,
shoot, that could be Knuckles himself. That looks a lot like.
Well, those things seemed older than Sonic, and Knuckles and Sonic are supposed to be the same age.
The arm is kind of red too, but like I said, it could be that they're hunting him. They're obviously hunting Sonic in the film, in the beginning of the film, so they could be hunting him, and that's why Tails shows up, because Sonic is being hunted.
Oh, this is a cool picture. Fan made picture. I like this.
That's cool.
They kind of took Sonic and made him look. Oh, look at this. That's disgusting. But
that's bad. Some of those are awful.
but you can kind of see he has these points that allow him to kind of climb up walls and stuff like that. Like that was always his power. And correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, couldn't he jump up and dive into the ground?
Yeah.
Like and dig a hole?
Yeah, I don't remember digging a hole, but I know he could like punch the side of cliffs and climb back up cliffs with his knuckles and stuff.
Yeah. But I don't know. Sonic was just around that time. Sonic was created to be
yeah, so his power set is the ability to climb up walls and glide. So
yeah. So Sonic was kind of Sega's they tried to mimic the success of Mario with Sonic. But Sonic became such a unique character in and of himself that we hadn't really seen anything really like that at that time. He was supposed to be a ripoff of Mario, and he turned into his like own unique thing. And I think that they really like captured that in his movie, like what makes Sonic the character unique. Even though he's basically, I mean, he's even reading Flash comic books in that cave there. Like he's basically a little bit like Barry Allen. He's basically a little bit like Quicksilver and stuff, but he still has a uniqueness to him. Like his wit and his humor almost remind me of kind of like Peter Parker, Deadpool, But I don't know, man. Like this movie, they just did a really good job, and it's awesome because they listened to us and they made a movie that we wanted to see. I wouldn't have wanted anything different.
To go back on your previous statement, Lance, so Knuckles wasn't created by Robotnik. He's been a very gullible character, and Robotnik tricks him into thinking that Sonic and Tails are evil. So,
is that what it is?
He tricks Knuckles into thinking that they're the enemy, and that's why Knuckles is going after him.
So it's kind of similar to Green Ranger, but without the spell.
Right, yeah.
Because Rita sets a spell on Tommy.
Well,
right.
I think that'd be cool. So, like, Robotnik figures out a way to travel between worlds, goes to Sonic's, finds Knuckles, sends him to get Sonic or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a cool way to do it. I think that's a nice evolution of the story. All right, well...
And then they become friends.
All right, well, we're about an hour and a half in and haven't done Fab or Flub. Is there more you guys...
So we're going to give our ratings on Sonic or what?
Yeah. Unless you guys have something else you want to say, I was going to say, let's give our ratings. Let's start with our revered guest.
I'm going to go... honestly, I'm going to go four couch cushions.
Okay. Lance?
It's my turn?
Yeah.
4.5.
Okay.
I loved it that much.
I was a little concerned we were going to have a clean sweep. I'm also at a 4. I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
This is the best movie I've seen so far that's come out this year, right? Because 1917 didn't come out this year, right?
It depends on who you ask.
Came out in theaters.
Technically,
this year. Came out in theaters this year, but no.
So this year, it's been the best movie that I've seen.
Okay. I think I'd agree with that.
I'm trying to think of what else has come out.
Well, we've seen The Gentleman, we've seen Birds of Prey, we've seen Sonic. And we've probably seen one other. Well, 1917, that's what we started the year with. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, Sonic's been my favorite.
I can't say the same. I think I enjoyed Bad Boys for Life.
I haven't seen
I need to see that.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Sonic was good.
It's fair. All right. Well, awesome. Thanks, guys.
So since we're done talking about Sonic, I'm going to take this thing off. Okay, guys?
All right. Go ahead.
It is extremely hot as it is like thick fleece. Like I'm probably going to be glistening here like Edward in a second. Give me 1 sec.
Ooh, Edward. Let's talk about that.
Can you put it back on, please?
Do you like how I did that there? That little segue? I set it up for you, Max.
You did. That was a good segue. So let's talk about the first look that we got at the new bat suit for Robert Pattinson. So I've got some screenshots. Well, one screenshot up on the screen. We'll start off with his chest before we get to his face. What do you guys think about like the new bat symbol, like the armor? What do you guys think so far?
I think it's dope. I did not know last night until Kyle and Brian pointed it out on our show that his bat symbol is a gun. It's made out
It's
of gun
the gun
pieces.
that killed his parents.
That's what they're saying is they think it's the gun that Joe Chill uses to kill his parents. Yeah. I didn't see that when I first saw the teaser trailer. I was like, oh man, like that looks cool. I didn't notice that it was a gun until Kyle and Brian pointed it out last night.
Now I like it, but I don't see the little peak in the middle. So my fear is that it just kind of like slopes like this, and I don't know if I'll like that very much. I'd like to see that little peak of the ears in the middle on top.
I understand. I think this looks really cool. That is an interesting comment that it's probably the gun, because I can see that now. I think the suit looks awesome. As a big fan of the Arkham games, this is just like a dream bat suit.
It does call back to that, doesn't it?
It does. So far, I'm really liking this. I think it looks really cool. Go ahead.
I was gonna say my problem comes in with the cowl. Like I think the cowl,
and that's why I started with this image.
Yeah, it looks a little more daredevilish, and it almost kind of it worries me with the way the cowl looks. But I mean,
my biggest issue with the cowl is how thin he is. I hate how thin he is.
Dude, I think he looks perfect. I'm not even gonna lie.
Really?
I think he looks pretty good.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I think it looks pretty good, but I agree that the cowl and the lighting doesn't help. We've got all this red lighting, and it's supposed to be a bat suit. So I don't understand why they went with red lighting, because it looks so freaking daredevilish to me.
Do you think that do you think that the red lighting is telling you kind of what the story is going to be based off of?
It's going to be based off Long Halloween. They've pretty much already all but confirmed it.
So isn't there a scene in that it's been years since I read Long Halloween. Isn't there a scene that's very like reddish in that book?
I can't recall off the top of my head. If you look up, there's people have been putting like artist renderings online on social media of what based off of this of what the cowl will look like in the actual movie without the red tint, and it looks pretty cool. Like it really does. It's really believable that it's something that someone would make. Kind of like what they did with Tom Holland's Spider-Man and in Homecoming, where he has his like homemade spider suit, and it was really crappy compared to the one Tony Stark gives him. That's very much what you get the feel from this Batman.
Okay, so is this one that you were talking about? Can I show this real quick, Max?
Like this is like before his R&D department and Lucius Fox gets involved and makes his suits, and
like, is this what you're talking about, Matt?
No, I mean there's different ones, but yeah, that's kind of close.
So yeah, I actually pulled that fan render up as well. Where is it?
See, I think I want the long ears. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't know if I like the stubbies. I think I want the long ones.
How long?
I think if it like that. Oh, you put it away.
I don't like that.
But I feel like if they're the stubbies, he'll look too much like Daredevil.
I think you're gonna get the long ears. I think that's.
I don't mind long. I don't like super. I like that. I like that length.
I just don't want difference between that and this.
But I really hope he's got like the white eyes. Like
I do too. Give us the white eyes finally, please. Okay,
yeah, none of this makeup that makes no sense when they take off their cowl. All of a sudden, they don't have the makeup.
Yeah,
yeah. What was the last? Go to the last one you were on, because that one was
this
sick.
one.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that one. That is sick. I love that. That's what I want the Batsuit to end up looking like.
It looks
the white
like
eyes and everything.
It looks like they kind of added a little bit of mass to his body,
which is fine because I mean they did the same thing for with Zachary Levi and Shazam. So I mean I think they can definitely get away with adding a little bit of mass to him with the suit, but I just love how the suit looks very like it could be built by an actual person, not crazy and overdone like you're normally seeing Batman suits.
Well, see, I loved Ben Affleck's Batman suit.
Yeah, I like it too.
And it didn't at all seem overdone to me. I don't know. Would you agree with that?
No, I don't think Batman's suit seemed overdone, but like I'm talking like if you look at Christian Bale's or
yeah. Well, Christian Bale's did a good job of explaining that a little bit, how it came from the R&D department. Yeah. It kind of did a good job explaining why his suit looks so high tech. Whereas the older movies, it just kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like they just kind of have high tech suits.
But I'm down. I've been down for him since day one being Batman, and it just seeing the test footage of him in the bat suit just reconfirms that. Like, I think he's gonna knock it out of the park.
I think I see his eyes there. I don't know if we're gonna get the white eyes.
Do either of you watch?
This isn't the white eyes are going to have to be done after.
Yeah.
Digitally, so I don't.
But don't you think they sent out a teaser trailer that they put the white eyes in?
Well, this is just a camera test.
Yeah.
I mean, and
is
this
that
might
what it is?
Yeah, this might be the final test or the final footage because they did a camera test for Joker, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, and that's exactly what he ended up looking like. But for all we know, they're going to do after the fact editing on the eyes. I hope so. The white eyes are so cool. Please do it.
But there's been a lot of people that have said they've gotten to see the bat suit already, the full Batman suit already, and then it's gonna be mind blowing. So I'm super stoked for it. Do either of you watch the YouTube show Hot Ones?
Occasionally, yeah.
So Sam is addicted.
Yeah, it's a fantastic show. But Zoe Kravitz was on the newest episode of Hot Ones, and she said that she's already been in the cat suit, and it's mind blowing. So I can't wait to see that either. So we'll see.
Yeah, I was starting to lose hope in this movie. I was on board originally, and then with some of the news coming out, I was losing some interest. But this bat suit, I think it's pretty cool. I'm excited for it.
I think they understood that there's been some like negative stuff coming out about this movie, so I think that's why we're even seeing this.
But most of the negative stuff was coming from Pattinson himself because he's an idiot. He's a good actor, but he's an idiot. He doesn't understand the character, and he still doesn't understand why fans were backlashing by his comments saying Bruce Wayne's not a superhero. It's like,
yeah, Batman is one of those properties that like when people are cast as them, like they need to understand the importance that is. They need to understand the importance that is Batman. You know what I mean? Batman is one of the most beloved, if not the most beloved comic book characters of all time. It's pretty much him, Superman, and Spider-Man, if you think about it.
Well, if you look at it, what are the those are the three most recognizable symbols in culture. Even if you're not a superhero fan, anybody can recognize Superman. Anybody's going to understand Batman, recognize Batman and Spider-Man. Like those are the three
most
recognizable symbols and heroes. So,
yeah. And you could probably argue that the Captain America shield is getting that way too. I would say, but nobody
is pretty recognizable.
Yeah. Nobody, but not before the movie. Like, I remember when they announced they were going to make that movie. Like, a lot of people thought that was a risky proposition, or Iron Man, for instance. But Spider-Man, Batman, and Superman, there's nobody in comic book lore that's more recognizable than those three in any iteration, too. I mean, you have 8 different live action Batman suits, and everybody knows what that is the first minute they see it. You have how many different versions of Spider-Man suit or Superman suit, and you always know what it is. Like, there's no question who that is.
Well, the Batman suit, you can pinpoint what movie it was worn in. Like, just by looking at it, you're like, oh, well, that was the Adam West Batman. That's Michael Keaton's. That's George Clooney's. That's
right.
The only thing I struggle with is knowing which Christian Bale one it is. There are times where I forget which movie it was from, but I'm usually going to be right.
His suits change that often. It's been a while since I've seen those movies.
Each movie has a different one.
No, his suit's the same in Dark Knight and Dark Knight Returns.
No, Dark Knight Rises, he has a new suit.
I don't think he does.
Let me see.
I'm pretty sure it's a different suit in Dark Knight Rises from the Dark Knight.
I'm looking at it.
I know for sure in Begins to Dark Knight because it's a plot point how the old suit he can't move as much.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure the third movie it's a different suit. The Dark Knight one I think is my favorite of the three.
That's the best movie of the three, so.
Yeah, but okay, guys, I realized this. I know we got BVS and we got Justice League, but this Batman movie is going to be the first solo Batman movie to be released in almost 10 years by the time it comes out. It'll be 9 years.
Dark Knight Rises is that
It's
old?
2012, man.
Yeah.
2012. Now, don't get me wrong. We haven't had that big of a break from Batman because we had 2 movies, one in 2016, one in 2017. It's not like it's been that long, but this is going to be the first solo outing for the character in 9 years. So that's kind of cool.
Okay. I got something to share here. Let me see. So there is 2 different suits. There is 2 different suits because you can see that.
I denied it.
Hey, I'm about to kick you off.
I was about to put it back in.
So here's Christian Bale and here's Christian Bale.
Yeah, but one of them is Batman Begins and the other one is Dark Knight.
Yeah, there's only 2 suits from that movie, Max.
From those movies?
Yeah.
All
I hate that. That's George Clooney in the middle, right?
So
Or no, is that George Clooney?
No, so George Clooney is he's the one on the end. He's the silver one, yeah.
And this is Val Kilmer?
Yeah. And then those 2 are Keaton.
I didn't realize the bat nipples started with Val Kilmer. I must have forgotten that.
No. That's Clooney too. Then
No, Clooney only did 1 movie. I thought. I guess he might have had multiple suits though.
Oh, that's possible. There was a plot point in that movie where they got new suits.
no, because he was in Batman. He was in wasn't he in 2? He was in the one with
No, he's only in the
I
one.
can't remember.
Let me see. I'll look it up. Calm down, people.
Yeah, look it up.
Just relax, just a little bit. Calm down.
Bat nipples. Batman and Robin.
Because Bat Nipples was totally George Clooney.
Yeah, it was. He has 2 suits. That's why. He's got that weird one with all the different grays in it, and then he's got a more traditional like black suit.
Okay, Batman Forever is Val Kilmer, right?
Yes.
And he has bat nipples.
Does he?
Yeah, I just pulled up an image from it right there. Nipples.
I can't tell in that image.
Let me see if I can find another one. Here you go.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I thought that was synonymous with George Clooney, but apparently it started with Val Kilmer. Here's the George Clooney ones.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a plot point in this movie where they get these new suits.
Dude, I haven't seen it in so long because they were so bad.
Yeah.
The first 2 were really good in my opinion. I loved Batman and then
the Tim
Burton ones. Those were great. And then you bring in I can't even remember his name, but they were pretty bad. Batman Forever was fun. It's like, from my childhood I enjoyed it, but it's not good.
See, I really liked I kind of like
Schumacher,
Jones
right?
as Two-Face.
Yeah, he did fine, but it was still a bad movie.
I was thinking
Well, no,
Schumacher,
this is Forever.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying you didn't like Batman and Robin.
I don't like either.
I was thinking about
Batman.
Do you think if you put Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey in this universe that it becomes a better movie?
In Batman Forever?
It does fit a little better.
If you put it in the same universe as like Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, that like over colorized like a Neo,
Yeah.
Yeah, it did feel a little bit like that.
universe.
It does feel like it fits in this a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Even the scene where they're in the fun house, I felt like was a callback to those old Batman movies. Because isn't there the one with Jack Nicholson? Isn't he in a giant fun house? Or no, the Penguin has something that looks like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like a big fun house type thing.
Yeah, I think you're
like
right.
it looked kind of straight from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's good on the Robert Pattinson talk though. Let's move on into our
How dare you deny me? I want to talk more about
You gotta stop sharing your screen there, Lance.
What do you think of that one? Robin
Oh
Williams.
man, Robin Williams would have done a great job. Rest in peace, Robin. Man, he was so good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna skip over some of our Fabra Flubs, but I have a feeling you're not gonna let me skip over this one. So let's talk about it.
Yes.
Lucifer discussions to carry on past what was initially. Okay, so there's been discussions that they're going to continue on past what they originally said, right?
Dude, I just put notes in the outline. You weren't supposed to copy them verbatim.
I know. I noticed that now.
Oh man. Yeah, so Lucifer's next season, which was going to be split into 2 parts, was going to be its final season. But Lucifer was one of the most watched shows on Netflix the year it came out, the Netflix season. That they're now going to want to carry it on past that.
So season 6 is the next season, right? That they said was going to be the last. Is that right?
No, I think season 5 is coming up. Let me see.
I'm gonna just be quiet because I don't care about this show. Haven't watched a season of it, and
I haven't either.
Dude, it's fantastic, man. It's fantastic. My own dad loves it. And when I told my dad it was based off a DC comic, he's like, bullshit. He didn't believe me. I'm like, no, Dad, it's a comic book. Like, it's a great show. And that dude, Tom, I don't know his name, but the dude that plays Lucifer is one of the best casted people for a comic book character that I've ever seen. Oh, awesome. But you guys need to watch the show. It's fantastic.
I've heard good things, and from what I saw in Crisis, because they did have a cameo from him, it looks cool. So, I mean, that's great. If it's a good show, keep it going. That's great.
Yeah, just keep on keeping on. If it's a great show, you do your thing.
Keep on geeking.
Well, listen, man,
keeping on.
Yeah.
You got me to watch Outsider, right, Matt? And I love it. Watch Lucifer.
Hold on.
For me, buddy, just watch it.
No, because one, I got you to watch a show that's only 6 episodes in versus this one that's 5 seasons in.
Hey, I'm not asking you to watch Supernatural.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Like how you work that in there. It isn't Couch Crunchers unless you mention that Supernatural.
Ugh.
Okay, so the 5th season is coming up. So there's just 4 seasons. The 4th season is only 10 episodes.
Yeah.
The
5th season's coming out this year, and I saw this as well, that they're thinking of continuing it on, which cool.
I think it's brilliant. It was one of their most watched shows on Netflix the year it came out.
Yeah, this is something I like that Netflix does. They'll save some of these shows and keep them going. The Last Kingdom, for instance, the first season of that, I don't know if it was canceled or if I can't remember what network it was. It was a British network. They didn't want to keep it going. Netflix picked it up, and now it's coming to season 4.
Fox. It was on Fox.
Was it Fox?
Well, I'm sorry, I tuned out. I was talking about Lucifer.
No, I'm talking about The Last Kingdom. I'm pretty sure it was a British network.
My bad.
But that show's really good, and that's one that's getting more because Netflix picked it up.
I'm gonna do with Lucifer what you do with most things, Lance. I'm just gonna act like I didn't see it, or like you didn't ask me. I'll be like, what do you mean? I tag you, be like, hey, look, let's go check out K. Trevor Vaughn ticket or K. Trevor Wilson tickets, and you just like never responded to me. You're just like whatever.
You know what it is?
I'm gonna pretend like that with Lucifer. I'm just gonna act like I didn't hear it.
You know what my problem is? I see the text and I'm busy with work, like I'm in a meeting or something, so I can't really respond, right? I see the text and I think of my response. I'm like, oh, I'm going to tell him that later, right? And I forget to tell you that, but in my mind, I had that conversation with you. In my mind, I told you, oh shit, I don't think I can go to that.
if even your hetero life mate over here.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah,
Matt. Welcome. I don't know how many times
Max is like, you never told me that. I was like, I'm sure I did. I'm sure I told you that. Like I've had this whole conversation in my head.
I can't tell you how many times I've texted Lance Bueller, because I just don't get a reply. My best friend growing up was always late to everything. I've always got to have a quirk in my best friend. He told me he was going to show up at 7. He didn't show up until 8 to pick me up.
Hey, I show up on time to things.
I mean,
You usually do. Lance just
unfortunately,
doesn't
you're the only
reply.
other person I know that watched Letterkenny. So that I mean, no, I don't have that connection with anyone else to be like, hey, let's go see the dude from Letterkenny do stand up.
When is it?
It was yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Oh, we missed it.
Yeah. All because you
I'm
can't.
sorry, dude.
respond
Which
to people.
guy?
I'm a bad friend. I know this about myself. Just accept me for what I am.
Squirrely Dan. Squirrely
Oh,
Dan.
man. He's freaking hilarious, man. I love
Have
how
you
he
watched all of
talks.
it?
No, I've only watched a few episodes, but he's funny. I love him and I can't remember her name, but where Miss Katie.
Well,
That's what I appreciate about you, Miss Katie's. Is that what you appreciate about me? Because she's freaking like 10 out of 11 out of 10 bombshell hot.
I'm not afraid to admit that I did rewatch the Valentine's Day episode yesterday during Valentine's Day.
she is one of the most perfect specimens I've ever seen in my life.
Katie, yeah, she is.
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Is this like a
Smoking
recent episode that just came out?
She's not even my favorite character because of her like character. She's just my favorite because every time she's on screen, you know it's going to be a good time.
So for the first,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, for the first 6 seasons, they've done like a special holiday episode. So they have like Christmas and Easter, and so they do a holiday episode. And they did during season 6, they did a Valentine's Day episode, and it's where they do like speed dating. And
Oh yeah.
it's a fun episode to watch.
She kind of goes into like horror mode, doesn't she?
Yeah,
Is that the episode where she just wants to pick up some guy?
Well, no, they go to the speed dating, and like it's her, Gail, her and Gail are like the only 2 girls there, and the rest of them are dudes, and like she's like hitting on the gay guys and talking baseball sexually. And
Oh
stuff.
yeah. Yeah, and then the hockey coach is there,
Yeah,
who basically can only say one thing.
yeah. Talks about his wife.
That's been
Barb.
embarrassing.
Yeah, I love the hockey coach. But
I want to watch more of the show. All I've been doing lately is watching Clone Wars, though. I'm getting ready for season 7 to come out on Friday, so I haven't really.
Well,
been doing
definitely
anything.
watch that show and then watch Lock and Key, because Lock and Key, I'm grateful for Sam and Matt telling me how good it is, because
Yeah, well,
by the trailer, I would not have watched it. It looked like a
Yeah.
kid's show to me, and it's so much better than that.
well, are you guys capable of reviewing it without spoilers?
Oh, I'm not that far into it. I'm only
Okay.
like 4 episodes in.
I mean, it's hard to review without spoilers, but it's like how did I say it was like Goonies meets
This Old House, isn't that what Sam had said?
that's what Sam said, yeah, but
what did
Yeah.
he
I was
say?
gonna
No,
say-
Stranger Things.
it's like Goonies
This Old
meets
House.
Stranger Things, yeah.
I was gonna say if you guys wanted to like talk about it on the show next week, since Sam should be on, I think, and you, and then maybe I can get my wife to watch the first episode with me, and if she doesn't like it, I'll just watch the rest of it by myself.
It's got Georgie, the little boy from
Okay,
It in
that's the one thing I don't like.
it. You don't like
When
him?
when he has a lot of screen time, you start to realize that he's not a very good actor.
I think he did all right.
The other 2 are good, him
Right.
not so much. I think the only thing he's capable of saying is "We all float down here." No, he's not a very good actor.
Okay,
Like, he kinda,
all right. What's the scariest movie you can think of, Lance?
that's hard, dude.
Well,
Because
whatever. It doesn't matter.
horror movies. I don't know.
All right.
the
Well, whatever.
first time I saw House of a Thousand Corpses, I was pretty. That one
Okay,
got
so
me
that's a
pretty good.
scary movie to you. Okay, on a scale of Frozen to House of a Thousand Corpses, how scary is it?
Well, it's not scary.
It's not
4?
scary, no. Yeah.
Okay.
3 or 4.
Okay,
Yeah.
There
'cause
is
that's-
one scene. There is in the first episode. There's this whisper from the well that's a bit creepy, and that's probably the only creepy moment in the entire series
So
that I've
less
seen so
scary, less scary than Stranger Things, you'd say?
Yeah.
far. Oh yeah, it's much less
yeah.
adult too.
Okay, cool. Because my wife and I want to watch it, but she was concerned from the trailer that it'd be scary, and she hates horror. So if it's not scary,
Oh, I
and-
didn't even get the notion from the trailer that was going to be scary.
I
No,
got horror
yeah,
vibes
not-
from the. I did.
It's more mystery than,
Okay,
than
cool.
scary. It's
It
not
is
really
mystery.
horror, yeah.
I might see if
Yeah.
she's going to stay up tonight. I might see if she wants to watch the
I'm
first
trying
episode.
to think like what it would be like really compared to like maybe Stranger Things and Lion Witch in the Wardrobe kind of type thing, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
know.
Essentially,
Yeah.
what it is that, I mean, I can't really tell the plot of it without spoiling it, but is it really a spoiler though? So it's about this family, the Locke family.
Please
Please
And
tell me
that
that's
right?
not how you think key is spelled.
I didn't know. I know
They-
that's not how the word key is spelled.
it's basically about the Locke
I
family,
thought,
and they
thought
move
for the show it
into
was.
this giant mansion that has been in their family after their dad dies. They move into this giant mansion that's been in his family for hundreds of years, and the house is littered with magical keys that do different things. Like there's a key that like allows you to leave your body and have your ghost fly around. There's a key that allows you to unlock your own mind. Like there's different keys in this house, and
It
they
sounds
do
more
different things. So.
fantasy.
It does have a fantasy
A
element.
little bit, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm trying to think. Like Narnia would probably be like it's a darker version of Narnia, but it's like a PG version of like the House on Haunted Hill, like very PG, and no ghosts. Well, there is a ghost, but there's no like demonic things.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, it sounds like we're done on that, so I put it up so that we could talk about it for 30 seconds. All right. Well, I think we've got time for one more Fab or Flub.
I agree.
So I'm gonna pick this one because you know what? We'll do two more. Quick hit. What do you guys think about the fact that Hopper's back?
I think it was stupid. It was stupid. It was so wasted because everyone thought he was back, but it wasn't confirmed. So
I knew he was back. Wasn't a surprise at all.
You could have build up before just showing him in the trailer.
Yeah, they shouldn't have done a trailer with him. I would have loved to have that reveal watching the show. Now they'd show. When is that supposed to come out?
I don't know. I don't know if there's a release date on it. I'm not sure. You're looking it up?
Yeah,
I was about to as well. But
keep talking, and I'll look it up.
So I agree. I wasn't surprised at all. My wife was. She's like, "Oh no, he died though." No, it was pretty obvious to me from the end of.
They're expecting it in October 2020 is what the expected release date is.
Okay, they usually release on a holiday. I wonder if they're going to do Halloween again.
I don't know, but all I know is that now
it makes sense.
I get a trailer in February about Hopper being back, and now I have to wait till October when they could have just shown me other pieces from that show, and then in October,
nothing. I wasn't expecting to see anything from it for a month.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all. I didn't like that being the reveal in the trailer.
I mean, it could come sooner. What season 1 came out in October, right?
Mm-hmm.
Season 2 came out.
No, I think season 1 came out in like November or something.
Okay, well, I know season 2
came out in July, right? Or
no, season 2 was October. Season 3 was July.
Yeah, the last 2 seasons were released on a holiday. Season 2 was released on
Thanksgiving.
Halloween. I don't think it was released. It wasn't released on Thanksgiving. It was. I don't remember when it was released. They had Christmas lights, but I don't think it was Christmas time, was it?
I thought it was November.
Yeah, I think it was Thanksgiving time.
I got it. Chill out, people.
But the last 2 seasons were released on a holiday, and I have a feeling they're going to keep that tradition alive.
I think so too.
So let's give it to us on Memorial Day. That's a good one.
That's a good one. Season 1 was July. Season 2 was October. Season 3 was July.
Okay.
And it was July 15th, October 27th, and July 4th.
So I'll probably get October again.
It looks like they might be alternating back and forth. It's hard to tell when only 3 seasons have been released, but
yeah, it's coincidence.
But yeah, I hated that in the trailer. Like,
Labor Day.
Cool.
Labor Day.
Labor Day. There you go.
Hold on, President's Day's on Monday. What if they surprise release it?
No, because I think you got a full trailer if they're going to surprise release it.
I know they're not going to do that.
Kyle, if we were any more chill, I'd be asleep.
You shut your mouth.
Okay, whatever. Let's see here.
All right. So that's good. Let's just move on. Last thing. we all agree it was kind of a dumb reveal. So, Star Wars. So the Solo is expected to be expanded on Disney Plus in a big way.
Boo, who cares?
I care.
I
I like.
don't know
Solo.
why you care. Now, the one thing that was appealing to me about this was the report I read said it was going to be a Lando-based show.
Cool.
I don't ever want to see that kid that played Han Solo in a Star Wars property ever again. I don't want to see him in any movie. The guy can't act out of a paper bag.
I didn't hate him that bad. By the way,
Oh,
this
he was
is
bad,
rumor,
dude.
By the way, this is not like official.
Oh yes, rumor.
This is
He
a
was
rumor.
bad. The reason that movie was so bad was him. Would you agree, Matt?
What?
Wouldn't you say the reason that movie was so bad was him, the Solo kid?
Matt hates Solo so bad he's not even listening.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just didn't really care for that movie. I don't know if it was him. I don't think it was him. I just don't think it was needed to be made. I don't care. Like all you really wanted to see from Han Solo is him make the Kessel Run, and that's it. And I don't really care. That's where I'm at with Star Wars now. I like the Mandalorian, but I don't care anymore. And I think it needs to go on a hiatus. You can stick with the Mandalorian, that's fine. But I don't need to see any more from Star Wars. I'm good. I saw the end of the Star Wars. I saw the Skywalker saga. That's it. That's all I need.
Take a short pause and develop an appetite a little bit.
Yeah, let there be a demand for it. I don't see people weren't screaming for a Han Solo movie. People aren't screaming for, I mean, they are now screaming for an Obi-Wan show because you gave them that little morsel, but I don't care about. I'm kind of the point where Star Wars is like whatever to me. It's at this point, leave it alone. Give me a little time to build up an appetite for it.
Booting you from the show.
That's you know it's true. You deep down, search your feelings. It's true.
I have searched thoroughly, and my feelings are give me Star Wars. But I will admit that maybe Solo isn't the best universe to expand on. I am very excited for the Kenobi show. I'm very excited to see more Mandalorian. I'm very excited for Clone Wars season 7. There was demand for all of that. The only thing there hasn't been demand for, I'm still excited for it, but Diego Luna's Rogue One series.
Oh, that's the one I'm actually kind of excited for. I really don't care about Obi-Wan.
But I don't think there's been as much demand for that one, but I'm excited about it too. Supposedly it's going to start filming here soon. But yeah, the Solo maybe isn't the best series to expand upon. People did like Lando, so I guess if you're going to expand, Lando's a good one.
Well, because Donald Glover's a likable person.
Yeah, he was a great Lando.
I think that's why I liked Lando in that movie so much. But I just don't like this Disney. It feels like they're trying to zap every penny out of Lucasfilm that they possibly can. Like Indiana Jones is supposed to start filming in 2 months, and I'm not excited for that at all.
Oh, I'm not either. My hype.
I don't need to see Harrison Ford's like hip break the first time he uses his whip.
The trilogy of Indiana Jones, I think, is really good. I like it. We don't need more. It's not. I don't think it's a series that needs to really be touched on again.
Right.
Yeah.
But
all right. Well, I think we're good. It's been 2 hours. Kyle's fallen asleep in the chat. Matt's there. Mushroom Land is just not as exciting anymore.
I'm not falling asleep. It's just like
reconnaissance.
It's not that I'm falling asleep. It's just I'm so tired over the last couple months between Rise of Skywalker and Mandalorian. I'm just so sick of hearing about Star Wars. Like I never thought I would see the day, but I'm so sick of hearing about Star Wars. And now you got Clone Wars coming out, and it's like I'm done. I've had enough. Give me something. Give me a break. I need a break between. Well, right. That's what it is. Between Rise of Skywalker, Mandalorian, Galaxy's Edge, the man, whatever. It's just like I'm done.
They're
I'm
bleeding
done.
it dry. They're bleeding it dry, and I seriously worry that Disney's gonna devalue the property. Like we had this discussion on like our 3rd episode of the show. How I think that Disney needs to like pump the brakes a little bit. I really worry that they're going to devalue this property.
They've got so much more Star Wars coming out stuff than they do Marvel stuff. Like you hear about Star Wars stuff constantly, and like you get a little bit here and there about Marvel, and that's it. Like it's not as they're not pushing Black Widow as hard as they're pushing Star Wars right now, and that movie comes out in like 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah, I'm not so sure I'd agree that Star Wars is more. I think lately they've been pushing Star Wars more, but I mean, there's 20 something Marvel movies now, and since Disney's owned Star Wars, they've released 4. You know, I'd say Marvel.
Yeah, but they like those 4 have come out like pretty frequently, right? I feel like
1 a year. Marvel had 3 a year for like 2 years in a row. Marvel is,
but they were all kind of different properties though of the Marvel universe. So like when you look at the Marvel universe, you're saying there are all these Marvel movies, but you'd get like one Thor, like they were different. Like you cured your appetite with different stories and stuff.
For perspective, then there have been 3 Avengers movies in the same time that 3 of the Skywalker saga has been released. It's been the exact same number if you want to go by like Avengers movies to Star Wars movies, because Rogue One, Solo, those were like, to me, the same idea of like the Solo one-offs, which I didn't even mean to say Solo again, but
well, but I'm talking like in the last, like when you podcast, you talk about this stuff so much because you got to be on top of it because people want to hear your opinion on it. And Kyle and I argue about this all the time. He's like, you know, people don't come to us for the news, and they come to us to hear our opinions on stuff, and that's correct. They do. They want, because we all hear the news when it comes out. They come to listen to your opinion.
Yeah.
But like, how can it's just so much between, like I said, between The Mandalorian, between Rise of Skywalker, Galaxy's Edge, the Star Wars game that came out, and now all the stuff going on with Kenobi, and now you want to bring to me we're gonna give you a Han Solo spinoff, and it's just like for Disney Plus, it's like that's so much Star Wars overload in the last
it's been a lot lately.
3 or 4 months, and you don't hear about that much stuff from coming out of the, as far as like the Marvel movies goes. We've got the TV shows, and then you start the speculation, but it's not like it feels like
over the
last Star Wars.
And Baby Yoda has overtaken the internet.
Yes, that too.
All the time. And you walk into any store that sells like clothing or toys or anything, it's just Baby Yoda everywhere.
I bought a Mandalorian shirt a couple weeks ago with
the Funko Pop. The the Baby Yoda Funko Pop is the best-selling Funko Pop of all time.
Woohoo!
But that's oversaturation, dude.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm all about my Star Wars. But you're right. It has been oversaturated of late.
You know the next Star movie I want to see? Quentin Tarantino's Star Trek movie. That's the next one I want to see.
The next Star movie I want to see is Spaceballs 2.
Ooh,
yeah.
The quest for more money.
Rick Moranis is coming back at Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, that's right. I saw
all the movies,
not for Ghostbusters, but Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
All the but we talked about that last night on our show, and they kind of brought up a good point that Rick Moranis that's his franchise. Like he is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. You know?
Oh yeah, he was even in the TV show, wasn't he?
I don't remember.
Or was he in the cartoon or something? I remember he did the Disneyland. There was like a 3 or 4D movie thing. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it
was right next to Bugs Life Land.
Yep.
And it was Rick Moranis, and you'd have the things crawl across the seats. I was depressed when they closed that down, dude. I went to that ride every single year. That one and the Muppets, they're both gone now. But yeah, he is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
That's just like I said. Give me a little bit of break from Star Wars, and that's fine. I'm excited that they're developing a Mighty Ducks series. Oh my god, like there's something else to get excited for on Disney Plus other than Star Wars and Marvel shit.
Yeah.
You know, I'm good for Mighty Ducks.
I'm with you. That was one of our Fab or Flubs, but just due to time I chose not to do it. I guess I should have. That would have been better than Solo. All right. Well, let's close it out. Matt, where can people find you guys?
Oh, you know, right here every Saturday on Couch Crunchers, apparently. That's what it's starting to feel like. I mean, I might as well just be your permanent third on this show because that's what it's coming down to. But yeah, you can find us every Friday night over on youtube.com/Absolute Geek Podcast, or every Monday when we release the episodes wherever you enjoy your podcasts at.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Matt, for joining us.
Where can they find you guys?
Well, I was about to say
here.
You can find us here every Saturday if you're
in this
watching,
office
you know
chair,
that
right here.
But
I'm waiting.
Yeah, if you guys haven't already, please like us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm constantly putting up ridiculous memes. Lance will actually put up news articles. All I ever do is memes, it seems like, but they're hilarious. We've got articles that go up on the website, www.couchcrunchers.com. And if you like what you hear, or even if you don't like what you hear, leave us a review, give us some feedback on iTunes or on whatever podcast platform you like. Anything you want to say, Lance, before we close it out?
Keep on geeking on.
I want to say something real quick.
All right.
Last night on our show, I did a show completely where I was dressed up as the Penguin, body painted. I want to see you two do a show where Lance is wearing a Max Face t-shirt and Max is wearing a Lance Face t-shirt.
Okay, so funny story. I almost had these shirts made, and I'm still going to get them made because Max lives in Colorado and I'm here in Arizona. I was going to make him a shirt in Arizona with my face on it and says "My heart lives in Arizona," and I was going to make me the opposite shirt for Colorado.
You need to. It needs to happen.
And I'm seriously thinking about bringing them both to WonderCon. But
that's you were body painted last night.
Yeah, that's body paint.
Yes,
I did not realize that was
share the image
paint.
because I wasn't sure if it was okay if I shared it.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've got it in our chat.
I did a whole 3-hour show dressed like that, so
I did not realize this was body paint. So give me just a second. I'm gonna pull this and I'll share it real quick here.
It wasn't mine to share, so I that's body paint?
Yeah.
I can see it now. At first, I did not realize that was body paint.
Matt, did Corbin do it? Did he come over and do it for you?
No, I did it myself.
That's hardcore.
And it was all based on a drunken conversation.
That is awesome.
We were having a conversation about Colin Farrell playing the Penguin and how it should have gone to a fat actor. And I was drunk, and somehow it led to me saying I would do it body painted. And then it kind of spiraled out of control when there was stipulations that I would have a big
I couldn't
black
body
schlong put on my head if I didn't do it.
Well, and I see that your dildo finally made its anticipated debut.
My dildo? What do you mean?
I was wondering when I first.
It's a Pinocchio. It's a Pinocchio nose, man.
When I tuned in last night, I was like, "Does he have a dildo on his nose?" Because you guys are always talking about like putting big dildos on your head.
That was my punishment if I didn't do it. Kyle threw the stipulation that if I didn't do it, I had to do an entire episode with a giant black dildo on my head. And he went on Amazon and he was going to purchase it. It was called the Black Destroyer. And
I saw him last week.
I kind of knew that wasn't a dildo because I think Matt is into a larger girth than that. Yeah. So
he's into the full fist.
I like a meaty.
Well, a couple weeks ago on your show, I saw Kyle bring out his Tyrannosaurus Rex dildo.
Cockosaurus.
Yeah, Cockosaurus Rex. That's for Corbin.
Corbin's nickname.
Yeah.
My gosh.
We're devolving quickly here, guys. All right. Well, with that, keep on geeking on. We'll talk to you guys next week. Ciao.
Bye, guys.